The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Welcome back, dear listener. This is the Late Night Alternative. My name is Iain Lee. Captain Boyle is here.
Word to all of your mothers.
We've got no YouTube, no Periscope anymore. That's not happening. So you have to listen on. How do they listen? I've forgotten.
You can listen on the app, the Talk Radio app.
Yes.
You can listen online at www.talkradio.co.uk.
And there's a third way.
Oh, DAB.
Thank you very much indeed. That's Simple Kids there. I trusted the spirits today. I was sat at the computer. I was sat at the computer today, and I thought, I want to hear some music, but I don't want to hear. I'm not going to go straight to the Monkees. I'm not going to go straight to the Beatles. I'm not going to go straight. So I did the musical prayer. I said, spirits, please find me something. Basically, I scrolled through without looking, then just stopped, and it came up with these were the options that were available to me: Simon and Garfunkel, Sinita, or the Sydney Torch and Queen's Hall Light Orchestra. And this is their track. This is what they... And I thought, no, and I went in for Simple Kid. Boy, oh boy, what a joy that was.
So you ignored the spirits. They gave you 3 options and you said not good enough.
No, Simple Kid was one of the options.
Oh,
I thought that was... Okay. And I'm glad I did, because it's a great album. I met him about 10 years ago. Then I did a little hunt to find out where this guy was. He's now a music teacher in Hastings.
It's probably much more sensible.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You'll be very welcome to. We got a guest this evening. Richie Tolway is here. Good evening, Richie.
Hello. Thank you.
There's something about you I don't like, and I'm going to come out and say it.
Great.
You're good looking, you got great hair, and you're buff. And to be honest, Catherine, to be
That's
confronted...
3 things about him you don't like.
Okay, well, to be confronted with that on my first day back is it makes me as a man feel inadequate. So just bear that in mind, okay?
Okay, for what's about to happen.
This is why Periscope got canned, because this guy's too good looking for us. Hey, Richie, it's nice to meet you. We kind of have mutual friends in as much as you were recommended to us by Hemda from Keith and the Girl, who we love on this show. We've been on their show. They've been on this show. It's a little bit, it's like put your keys into the fruit bowl and see who goes home with who.
Yeah.
But Hemda sent us an email saying, we've just had this guy on. His plan is a bit nuts. We think you might like him. And your plan is nuts.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing, man?
I'm throwing all of my life savings into a round-the-world trip that's guided by people on the internet. I have no plans. Like, I am checking out of my hostel here in London tomorrow at 10 a.m., and I do not have a hostel booked in whatever city I may go to tomorrow.
Okay. Now, did you describe it as a choose-your-own adventure?
Yes.
So were you one of those books?
Yeah, kind of.
Did you have those books in the States then? I thought they were a very British thing.
We had them, but...
Ian Livingstone was the main guy behind them, and once I had to introduce Ian Livingstone on stage at an awards do. Greatest thrill of my life. I made a joke about a 20-sided die, got a big laugh. But so this is... the decisions are open to the public to decide.
Yeah. Generally speaking.
That's gonna come back to bite you on the ass. I've been in America, I can say ass convincingly.
Yeah.
That's gonna bite you on the butt, isn't it, man?
I don't know. I mean, there's some days that have been kind of crazy where people are like, you have to go do this, you have to go do that. Go run and, put your feet in the water, eat some chips. It's a lot, I'm trying to vacation for 20 people at once. I can eat for 20 people. Yeah. That's the good thing. But
when you say eat chips, you mean chips, not crisps?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I would never call your chips or my chips anymore.
Thank you. Because I just took my 6 and 8-year-old to New York, and they found it hilarious that you guys called jam jelly. They found that hilarious, and then they were asking. So your jelly is what we call jam, just to bear that in mind.
Wait,
yeah. So your jelly and peanut butter sandwich. That's a disgusting combination.
No, it's not. It's great.
Right, just hang on. It's disgusting. But also, jelly is jam.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Jelly is like the fake stuff. There's preserves that have the fruit bits.
What?
There's jam that has the seeds.
What?
And then there's jelly that just is made with the pectin and the juice.
America has
delineations.
Jam?
But then what's the stuff you put in the mould, like for parties and
Jello.
No, that's Jello. And this is what
that's what we call jelly.
My eldest was asking me, what do they call jelly? And I couldn't remember. All week I was thinking, I'm not going to Google it. And then on the flight home, I went, Jello. So you actually have jam. This is the first. Next, you'll be saying America understands irony, which of course we know that Americans do. I was being ironic.
From what I understand, there's different things. There's different,
Wow.
It's like that's the worst of them all. Is jelly. That's the cheap stuff.
Wow.
It's just a bunch of sugar.
This is incredible. These are incredible scenes.
It's all a learning experience.
And yet, when I was in America, didn't learn any of this.
No.
Those guys keep that secret.
I was working with an American last week, and she told me about biscuits. Your biscuits are scones.
Oh, your biscuits are you get, but you have
I just had this conversation with
meat and gravy.
What?
Sorry?
Biscuits?
Are you American? Who is this guy? I think we've got a Canadian has snuck in. Don't you have biscuits with meat and gravy?
Yes, like biscuits and gravy. Biscuits with sausage gravy. Yeah.
Dirty.
But they're like a savory scone. They're like a scone with no sweetness to it, and it's just that like flaky, buttery.
So almost a dumpling, but not squidgy enough.
Yes, pretty much a dumpling, but just baked.
The Americanization of our language continues because we say cookies now. We don't.
Biscuits are French word.
We say, please. we say Oreos now. In America, deep fried Oreos.
Oh God,
man!
Where were you eating?
Brother? Come on!
We deep fry everything.
Deep fried Oreos. Room service.
Shut
deep
up.
fried Oreos.
No.
Oh, it was filth.
That stuff you try out at home when you come back from the pub, isn't it?
Mate,
we do deep fried Snickers.
Oh, you
Snickers
dirty
candy
devils.
bars.
Yeah, man alive. Honestly, America's where it's at. Apart from, a racist president. And apart from that.
Oh, I mean, just the racist country.
But also, what was great about it, I went on holiday with my boys, and they were put in a cage for 5 days, and I got to have a holiday on my own. So high fives all round. Now, so tell us. Okay, hang on. What we'll do is we'll give out the websites now.
Great.
You want to tell Richie where to shove it, and I mean that almost literally, because that might be one of the things. And then we'll also give it at the end, so you can have a think. But the website is unguidednations.com, and I'll tweet all this in a minute. Unguidednations.com. It's also the YouTube channel, which I've just subscribed to, Unguided Nations.
Thank you.
On YouTube, you'll find it. Is it? What are you on Twitter?
Unguided Nations.
This guy's clever. You've got
Facebook, Unguided Nations. Instagram, Unguided Nations. I got it all.
MySpace.
Yeah, on MySpace. Check out my LinkedIn.
I got an email from LinkedIn last week for the first. Anyway, we're going off a tangent.
Okay.
So what can they? What can they tell you to do? How does it work?
I mean, it's like for the people that are going to be in the cities that I'm going to, it's like, show me something cool, let's go film it. I'm really getting into film. I'm like, just discovering that whole creative outlet.
Yeah,
I think I'm getting pretty good. You can check it out on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I've been studying. That's what I did in preparation for this. I didn't look up how to travel well. I didn't look up where to go.
Right.
I watched hours and hours of how to film, how to edit, what gear to get. I was like, I am going to screw this up royally, but I want to be able to show it the best way possible.
I have to apologise, because you were filming in Brighton, and someone stole your drone.
Yeah.
So on behalf of Britain,
right?
It was probably someone who voted Brexit. But I apologise, man. That's terrible. What happened?
Well, it was kind of my bad, but I was flying the drone, and it was running the battery low, and it went to go return back to its home point, and I tried to override the computer. I thought it was flying the wrong way, and so I tried to fly it back to the home point, ended up taking it farther away. Either way, it landed in a different spot, far away from me. Yeah. And by the time I found where it had actually landed, maybe 3 minutes had passed, but it was gone. So it was just,
Oh, that's lousy.
Missing. But it was, I've parted
That's
ways.
lousy.
I've parted ways with everything I owned, and that's the second time I've done that in my life. Like, I really have gone through some cathartic. I used to.
You gave away your guitar, didn't you?
I gave away my guitar that I had since I was 16 years old to my friend, and I said, if you're going to use it, and if not, please give it away. Things are meant to be played with. When I lost the drone, I was like sad and mad for like an hour, and I was like, well, I have the controller and extra batteries, so whoever has it should take these, like at least be able to use the damn thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you can say damn.
Okay, great.
I'll give you a list of the words that you can't say.
Great.
Catherine's got them tattooed all over her back.
All the fun ones.
Okay, so let's go back a bit. So why are you doing? Where has this idea come from? What happened in your life where you thought, man, I'm going to go around the world and let people tell me what to do?
Well, geez. Started out, I was a stand-up comic in New York City for like 4 years. Wow. That came after a divorce at 25 in Arizona. It sold my house, and a
divorce at 25?
My first video, yeah. I've lived a lot of lives. I dropped out of high school at 16, went straight to college, was ready to graduate at 20, started comedy, quit comedy, got married, was married for a few years, bought a house, everything. Yeah. Married at 22, divorced at 25.
Oh man,
sold the house. It's fine. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
That's what after this most recent breakup. I'll skip ahead and then go back. But after every breakup, I looked at it. I was like, I've never gotten worse after a breakup. Things have only gone up. So that kind of helped me push through this last one. But went through a divorce, and I just sold my house, sold everything, drove to New York City, across the country, with 2 boxes in my SUV. Did comedy there for a while, but just got into the partying too much, a lot of drugs and everything, and I ended up just falling out of love with comedy, falling out of love with the city. I had been kind of thinking about moving to L.A., and I was depressed, and I went to a therapist, and they were like, well, first off, stop drinking. You're drinking something that's a depressant. So I quit drinking, got sober, and I was going to still, and then I went through a breakup. I was going to move to L.A., and I was like, well, it could be a 6-hour flight, or it could be like a month-long trip around the world. And so I was gearing up for this like quick, thing, a long move to LA, basically. And then my sister was talking to me one day, and she was like, are you excited for your vacation? And her calling it a vacation freaked me out so much, because that implies that you're going to go back to normal. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, it's going to be 6 months now. And then it's grown, it's grown to like, I think a year I'm planning for now. I met somebody that did this a few years back, kind of a Europe and then a Southeast Asia thing. And for what I was budgeting for like 6 months, they said they lasted over a year.
Right,
And they had like
okay.
a lot of flights involved and whatnot. So now I'm just like, all right, cool. Let's go for a year. And if I can gather any other money, or if I can go back to New York City and make a bunch of money moving people or whatever, and then go out and do it again. I mean, this might be my thing now.
And you talk about moving people. We're talking about moving people like 4 apartments in a day.
This is how you made the money, was being a removal guy.
Right. I was
On
a
your own,
handyman.
though?
I was a handyman on an app. Well, I guess you guys have it here. TaskRabbit.
No, we don't.
You have it in London.
No, we don't do it.
Well, I've never used it.
All right. Well, there's an app called TaskRabbit.
Yeah.
You can. It's like Uber for services. Handymen and cleaning services and whatnot, and movers. And I figured out. I just kept chasing the money up. I was like a furniture builder, and then a plumber, an electrician, and then like the real money in New York City, because nobody has a car. Nobody could even drive a car in New York City. So I was like, I have a license. I can go rent this big box truck and just move apartments. And I have a high threshold for pain. I just push through it.
Oh,
and
let's put that to the test.
And I'm strong, and I have no problem just turning my back into gelatin and ruining it. But I could move like 4 apartments in a day solo. And
I remember hearing you saying that that when you gave your prices, people would flinch, but then they would realise you were talking about 2 hours work and not a whole day.
Right. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna move your entire apartment in 2 hours for like $350. Boom, call it a day. Rather than some movers that are going to,
charge you that per hour.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, moving in New York City is such a racket. It's like, I help people, I move them for like $300 or $400, and they're like, I got quotes for $1,200, $1,500.
Wow.
It's such a racket there for these moving companies.
And you were having fun, in inverted commas. You were drinking, you were drugging, and kind of not really focusing on anything beyond that.
Right. Well, yeah, because it was 1 week that I would have to work a month. There's like the last 3 or 4 days of the month, and then the first 2.
Isn't that incredible?
And $8,000 later, I have the rest of the month to just piss it away.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
That's a borderline.
Okay. Well.
That's a borderline. Listen, we'll take a quick break. 0344 499 1000. We've got Richie Tolway. If you want to find out, follow him on Twitter, Unguided Nations. It's unguidednations.com as well. And go and subscribe to the YouTube channel while we have a quick break. Back after this.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.
Here we go. Sorry. Iain Lee, Late Night Alternative, Talk Radio. Catherine Boyle's here. We've got Richie Tolway here. And Kath has just put 2 and 2 together. And you've realised that we
he was up a ladder when we went to see
Richie
Keith.
before.
Yes, we have.
So go on, because you remember better than me.
Because I've only been to Keith and the girls' place once.
I've been there twice. Yeah,
they asked
me
left
to go
behind.
back. Yeah, they asked me to go back because I was such a good guest. Yes,
you were worried I might
and
have
then you phoned up to try and muscle in on what was basically my interview, but that's fine, and I'm cool with that now. So anyway, yes.
Yeah. So and when we were there, I remember they were kind of getting the microphones ready and everything. We first arrived. There was a guy up a ladder.
A buff guy up a ladder.
How could I forget the face? I mean, if you just go up a ladder and turn around,
look at that ass.
But it was you. It must have been you.
Because you were a handyman, and you were saying you kind of ended up doing handyman work for Keith and the girl.
Yes. If there was someone installing lights, it was for sure me. And I'm remembering it more. Absolutely.
How freaky is that?
So weird.
This is nuts, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wild.
We've been in the same room as each other before.
Actually, there are a few jobs around here we could do with some help with. I don't know if you noticed the microphone's screwed.
I tried to jump into
when
action.
I came in, the microphone fell off its stand, and Richie just jumped in and went, "Let me have a go at this." He didn't do it.
No, but he looked like he knew what he was doing.
He was very. My headphones are broken. I'm only getting one ear. Maybe you could have a look at that.
Sure.
So we got Richie Tolway, Unguided Nations on Twitter. Who is travelling around the world on your own dollar? You're not asking for people to put money in the hat.
I turned down donations.
That's great.
In my second video, I was like, people asked if I was doing a Kickstarter or anything like that. And it's like, no, donate your money to somewhere else.
Wow.
I say so much into the camera that I forget that I don't release it all. But I'm like, I was just walking around in Brighton, and there was a busker. And I'm like, that's going to be like my rules. It's like, if you ask for money, I'm giving it to you. If you're a busker, I'm going to give you money. Wow. If you're going to plug anything, because people have gotten on, I do like live streams on Instagram and things like that. And I take like live dares and I just interview people on the street. If they're going to throw out their Instagram handle, like plug away, I respect the hustle. That's my rule. Like, respect the hustle. Just give people any platform they want. So yeah, I just threw a guy 2 pounds on the way here. Like, money it sucks.
I love it!
Will you accept a sofa for the night? And how do you know when people aren't crazy?
I think you've got to say
I've already had. Oh no, yeah.
I know what a sofa is.
I don't think they do.
He's not an animal.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not at that point where I'm like, I need to crash on someone's couch, and I feel like such an inconvenience all the time, you know? I'm just like, I would never. I was in Brighton, and I was walking down to the beach. I was going to go look for some dinner on the beach, and I saw two ladies carrying a headboard, and they were struggling mightily. So I was like, I used to be a mover. Can I get that for you? And I threw it on my shoulders, and I walked it in, and they were like, well, come in and have a drink. And I was like, I don't drink. It's fine. You know, have a good night. And they're like, well, just come sit down and talk. So we sat for 3 hours with these ladies in Brighton, and it was great. And the woman wanted to marry me by the end of the night, and it was scary then.
Well, you came free with a headboard. Why wouldn't she?
Yeah, I carried the headboard in.
Let's put this headboard to the test. And that's the joy of what you're going to do, I think, is going around the world. And for me and Kath, doing the radio is all about stories. People phone in, and we've got some callers. We'll go to them in a minute, Matt and Kasif and Alan. For me, it's people phoning in with their stories. And you're going to go around the world. And by doing this little bit of an odd thing, and also by having your eye open and seeing the people with their headboard and people that need a hand, you're going to get stories that no one else is ever going to hear. You know, you're going to hear amazing things and meet amazing people. I don't mean amazing people that have done incredible, you know, everyday people. Right. Everyone's got a story, and you're going to get all of this. Yeah. That's exciting.
It's been great. I mean, I was waiting at Piccadilly Circus for a bus that never came. Some guy asked me, he's like, do you know if the 9 is coming? And I'm like, I am American as well, my friend. He was from like Charlotte, North Carolina. We talked for an hour. I just dropped, you know, I'm a very open person. I don't mind putting myself out there first, and then people open up back, you know, and I mentioned that I got sober. We were talking a while. He goes, we ended up getting an Uber together, and he was like, so I'm 38 years sober. Wow. And we talked about that, you know, and you just meet people. And
did you just stop, or did you go to the rooms, or did you do anything?
It was I was getting antidepressants, so they were like, you have to stop for 2 weeks, or because you can have seizures. And I knew that was a lie, because like I was a druggie. I've researched all this stuff. You can mix anything. Yeah. It just makes it more fun. You know?
That's true, man. That's true.
But they're like, you can't drink with this because you can have seizures. And I'm like, okay. So I just swallowed that pill. You know, I just told myself, yes, you can't drink for 2 weeks to get these drugs. Blah blah blah. So 2 weeks, went on the road with my buddy. Actually, we were doing a bunch of brewery comedy shows, and we were both quitting drinking. My friend Austin in New York City, we went from Coke buddies to gym buddies to AA buddies. Wow, yeah, we went through the whole thing together, and it was great. But I just quit cold turkey, and I was excited at first, and then like day 70 I started going to some meetings and whatnot, but I knew I couldn't commit to the program as much because like I'm only 4.5 months sober right now.
Well, congratulations. Thank you. That's incredible, because I'm in recovery as well. I was a Coke fiend, and it's more Coke for me than booze. Coke and pills was
Coke was
where
just
I was
a way
at.
to drink more booze for me.
What Coke did for me was I could go and jerk off for like 24 hours, but B, it just made you sober, so you could drink booze and then do some Coke, and then you'd be sober again and go, I'll start again. Right. But all the while, it turns out it was not fun. It was fun at the start for a bit. It was a laugh for a bit, but then it just became this very isolated, you know, stuck in a room watching porn for 3 days on a time. That's not a great trip.
That's different from me. I didn't do that.
Did you know? You missed out, man. Go back and do it. No, don't.
Towards the end, it got to the point where I was drinking. I was going out only like twice a week. That's why it wasn't so. I wasn't like drinking every night. I wasn't that guy where like I get off work and I need a beer. It was like twice a week. I would go out and get so screwed up until 6 a.m, you know, that I was hungover for 2 days. So I was drinking for the hangover. I was just drinking to have an excuse to not talk to anybody for 2 or 3 days. Yeah. And that's the saddest part about it, you know, when you're like going out, you're not even going out for the fun of the night. You're just going out there to like kind of kill yourself for 2 or 3 days. Yeah. So that's why I was like, I got to go live a life.
Well done on 4.5 months. That is great.
Thank you.
I don't mean that to sound patronising. Genuinely is an achievement. Is that we've got a lot of people listening who've got issues with alcohol and drugs and things who'll be going, wow. But I'm also interested in kind of this minimalist vibe you've got going. Have you given away everything that you own? Or have you got like a storage room back at home?
No, I have a shoebox with like pins of me playing soccer as a kid, you know, like that I sent back to my parents' house.
How did you do that? Because I just moved, right? And after a divorce, and
sorry to hear.
Thank you, but got all this stuff, and I've got too much stuff, and I'd love to be. Part of my fantasy is to go. I'm going to just put this in boxes and get rid of it, and just have. But I can't do it. They've got this attachment to things. How did you do it?
Well, I had to do it once when I got divorced. I had to just sell everything. And I grew up, my parents were not hoarders, but they just, I mean, a little bit, you know, not like they're not keeping the newspapers in the trash and everything, but like we had a laundry basket filled with old cords, like computer cords, you know, that don't even work. They don't go to anything anymore, but my dad would just save them because in case he needed a cord, that's where he would go.
Right, yeah.
And just that, so it was like, there's just so much stuff, you know, and I couldn't do it. And so, really, I mean, when you have stuff, right? So you spent money on stuff, and then you have to spend your life worrying about that stuff and cleaning that stuff, and then you get mad when the stuff gets broken, and it's all just garbage, anyways.
It's pointless, yeah.
It's really pointless, and it's so. I've always been, you know, kind of a minimalist in that regard. I just don't like to own things, and with moving people, and with like looking at storage.
There we go.
And just the crap that people own, and they pay money to store it, and they just worry about these things, and it's just you don't need them.
No, and you see it cold, right? They see their worldly possessions and the contents of their home, and what you see is, oh my God, another box of this stuff.
Right.
You need it.
Right. It's just it's all just trash.
Sure, I feel a bit zen. Should we take a call? I've got no idea if these people have called in to speak to you or if they just want to do their little party pieces.
Yeah.
But let's see. I've got a feeling Matt might be to speak to you. Good evening, Matt.
Ian, nice to hear you, my friend.
It's nice to hear you, Matt. How are you? Oh, this is New York, Matt,
Yes.
who doesn't live in New York anymore because he came and saw our show in Brighton and it changed his life. That's what I'm
I
going to
decided
say.
I wanted to be British, and nothing more than to come over here and, you know, take my American ways and pretend to be British.
Here's the problem.
So-
Here's the thing. We're now 50-50 English American. If an American phones up right now, comes on the line, we are screwed. They can officially, the law of the radio is, if there are more Americans than Brits on the show, they can take over the show. We become the guests, Catherine. So this is a very tricky, this has never happened to us before. This is very touchy time.
I need a job, and then radio would be fine. So this works out perfectly.
Just I don't want any Americans to call in for the next 5 minutes, please. And that may sound racist or xenophobic. Sue my ass.
They're used to it.
Hey, sue my big ass.
But Matt, aren't you moving around in a similar way to Richie? I mean, you're not documenting it in the same way, but you're also kind of taking your life on the road.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to call and say hello. I lived in New York
for stealing his idea.
Yeah, tell me everything you know, and I'll just do that. No, I've been living pretty much out and about since January this year. I lived in New York for 9 years, was doing comedy and radio and TV there, and just got bored of that scene there and wanted to go travel and do some other stuff and meet people and kind of experience other things. So I've been pretty much on the road ever since then, just wandering around aimlessly, seeing where I go and letting different paths and work and all take me. So I completely understand the journey and wanting to do something like this and have huge kudos to you because it is not easy in any way, shape, or form to do it.
Thank you so much.
So what are you? So you're just confining yourself, Matt, to Britain? Are you? Or are you going off? You dipping into the continent? What's going on?
No, I did a little bit more around the States because I was here. Last I saw you in March. Then I was in Canada and Toronto and Montreal for a while. I went to parts of the west coast of the States. Now I'm back over here, and now I'm going to go over to the continent in the next couple of weeks and then go to Asia at the beginning of 2019 and go to the other side of the world then. So.
Okay, now you're going to go to Asia. So what? So what's your plan now, Richie? Because you said that tomorrow you're off.
Yeah, I'm off to Bath, then to Liverpool.
Say it again.
So I got corrected, and I love British accents so much. I told Keith and the girl that I will marry the first woman that corrects me to say Bath, and this beautiful woman in Surrey Hills corrected me. I accidentally said Bath, and she goes, "It's Bath," and I was like,
"Well, I don't say that, but
well,
they
you
do,
should do.
they?
You should do because she's from up north and she's incorrect.
So I say Bath.
But
do you?
No, but don't listen to her. She doesn't speak the Queen's English. But I could tell you've been corrected by just in that one
Bath.
American accent. Bath. My boys took great fun. I was encouraging them to try and do the American accent, and they couldn't do it. And then they heard a woman in a park. Can't remember the name of the park that we were in America. And now both my boys go, the reason I love this park is because it's so unique. And that was the phrase they heard. And they both just keep doing that. And that was their key in. So I love it. So you're going to Bath, which is great. It's a historic city, beautiful place. You're going to love it. They've got Starbucks there. And I think they've got a McDonald's now if you get hungry. So there's good food. Good food and good coffee. And then what?
Liverpool, Ireland, Scotland, shoot back down through England, France and then head east, and I don't know the geography of Europe to then to name anything else after that.
Well, you're not going to go to Spain.
Yes, I will.
Go to Seville.
Well,
yeah.
That's an instruction now. You have to legally do that now. She said it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not legally, but yeah, I mean, I give general. I can't be ping ponging all over the place.
No.
I can burn out my whole budget in flights in the next week if I'm like, oh yeah, where do I go next? I have to book a flight to Spain. Great. So I can't be doing that.
So how does it work? Do you like put up a list of options? Or does someone, if someone were to tweet you tonight and say, hey man, you should go, while you're in Bath, you should go into this swingers club or something, how is it going to work?
Yeah, I'm open to recommendations. I'm vacationing for 20, like at all times. I'm always like vacationing for many people. They're like, go do this for me, go do that. Check out this thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. I don't have to do it, I mean, I'm not going to assault somebody. That's what Keith said. Keith was like, so if you tell him that he has to go kiss a girl, just go grab her and kiss her. I'm like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't. Even on a dare.
Flipping Keith.
Thanks, Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
You can't go and kiss a girl without her permission anymore because of that guy. I'm not making jokes about sexual assaults. #
No.
Me Too, sisters. But,
no, don't do that.
No? Does that demean it?
Slightly, yeah.
Matt, I'm going to cut you off. We've got too many Americans here. There we go. Oh,
he cut
himself off. Good. You've got to respect that. We'll take a quick break. 0344 499 1000. This is the Late Night Alternative with Iain and Kath on Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
You had a breakdown in Kensington. What the hell happened there?
I don't know. None of this is planned. None of this was researched. So I've been trying to figure out how to live a life, how to see sights, how to film it all, how to edit it all. There's a lot going on. So, it's all stressful. And then, if I half-ass the film part of it, if I'm like trying to edit and travel and carry suitcases and everything and film things, then I have bad footage, and then it makes editing it so much harder. Mm-hmm. So it was just a lot, and like within my first week, I just had like a little bit of a breakdown. I went out to go film. Woke up at 6 a.m. in Kensington. I was staying over in the middle of Holland Park, and woke up to film the sunrise. And I was like, "Let's go! We're gonna do it! I haven't had coffee yet." And then like a minute later, I was like, I walked 100 yards, and I can't do this. I'm taking the next 2 days off.
Wow.
And my friends were like, what do you mean off? Yeah. You're on vacation. And I'm like, you don't get it. Like, and I'm not trying to gripe, I am like living a dream.
So what happened then? Was it because you didn't have coffee? I'm making a joke of it, but what happened where you suddenly had this, I can't do this for the next couple of days, man?
It was just 5 days straight of just go. Because when the camera goes off, I don't just be like, all right, cut. I'm going to go with the trailer. I'm slaving away, and I'm not a good editor yet. Like, I don't have a workflow down yet with editing. This is all like, I'm teaching myself new, like, transition things, and then, learning them and then implementing them, and learning how to color grade, and just, make things more enjoyable to watch. So this is all learning for me. I'm not like, I wasn't a 10-year video editor that now just has new places to shoot. So it's all...
I was going to say, you remember what it was like for us in New York? We didn't stop, did we? And we're hauling like all that equipment, and there were two of us. Imagine doing it on your own.
When you saw us last time. We were in New York for 6 days, I guess, and we were doing the radio show out there. And we made a point of we wanted the first 2 hours of the show to be live,
right?
And then we'd have the last hour would be a pre-recorded interview. But throughout that, we'd get up at 8 a.m, 7 a.m. We'd go out and interview Steve Guttenberg in a diner. Then we'd go and do some vox pops on the street. And then we go, and it was just, the day was full.
Yeah.
And it's related because...
And you also never feel like you're done. Like, when you're sitting there eating in the afternoon, if you get time to sit and eat, you're thinking about the next thing or what you have to do and trying to remember it all and when it's going to go in.
And this was the two of us, and it was generally... Well, it was both of us doing the interviews, actually. Then Kath was doing the editing, because I can't do it. She'd be in the back of a cab editing. And that, at the end of the 6 days, we were shattered, and it was two of us. So I get it. I get what you're saying about just doing it and doing it on your own. And there's no one to go. I suppose you can phone people at home, but if we were one of us was having a bad day, the other one could talk them round.
Right.
But if you're on your own, You're on your own. Are
No.
you talking to anyone at home? Have you got people at home that you can phone up and say, "Oh man, this idea sucks"?
Yeah. My mom's been pretty supportive. She's currently at Burning Man, so.
Oh, okay.
She was, but no, I mean, I told her she deserves executive producer credit on some of these things because I'm sending her like proofs of videos and whatnot. I'm like, is this unwatchable? Because I just don't even know.
Because you've looked at it too much.
First I have to live these days. All right. First I have to go out and live with myself for 24 hours, and then I have to go watch myself live those 24 hours all over again.
Yeah.
Just over and over and over. And so by the end of it, it's down into like a minute-long thing, and I have to send it to somebody. I'm like, is this even palatable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do you hate it as much as I hate it?
It's funny, there's a lot of synchronicity going on, or maybe coincidences. We're talking about editing, and we've got a guy coming on next week, a guy called Doug Pound, who is, he's a comedian and he does a podcast called Poundcast, but he's also the editor for Tim and Eric. You know Tim and Eric, awesome show. He's the editor for that, and it's really innovative.
What a job!
It is a really innovative style of editing, holding shots too long, zooming in on weird bits. We watched that Magic for Humans, which we'll talk about later
incredible.
on. I think Doug Pound did the zooms in on the Magic for Susans. And he's the reason you mentioned editing, and he's in my head because I want to talk to him about editing more than anything else, because that's where the art is. But also, he's at Burning Man this week, which is why he can't come on the show this week. He's going to come on next week, and he's at Burning Man, and your mum is at Burning Man, and it's just. There's some weird. We met you a year. There's some weird shiz going down in this room. You feel the vibes?
Definitely.
There's voodoo happening. Okay. And how long are you doing this for?
I think a year. And my mom even criticized that. She's like, you said 6 months, and then you say 8 months, then you say 10 months. You got to just commit to something. I'm like, this whole thing is about not committing to anything. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So I think it's a year. I don't know. It might be for the next 10 years. Who knows?
The whole point is you're throwing everything up in the air.
Yeah.
And just letting life happen.
Dom, who's a tweeter and a listener to the show, said something very prescient, I thought. He said, it's like a modern-day Dice Man by Luke Reinhardt. I don't know if you know that book.
No. It's
a great book. It's very 70s. I interviewed Luke Reinhardt once. Don't read any of the sequels. But the first book is this guy who's just bored with life.
Yes.
Bored with life. And he's got some dice, and he goes, well, I'll tell you what, if I get an odd number, I'm going to go and get drunk. And if I get an even number, I'm going to go to bed. Odd number, I'm going to go and get drunk. And as he gets drunker and drunker, he goes, hang on, maybe, and he then dictates his whole life is by the roll of the dice. If I get a 1, I'm going to do this. If I get a 2, I'm going to do this. And I thought there are some similar, it's a good book. It's a little bit dated. I think he might commit a sexual assault in it as one part of the roll of the dice. Now thinking back. But there are similarities, just that kind of just throwing it up in the air and seeing which way it goes, where it lands, know, handing it over.
Yes, yeah, just giving away, just letting it be. I don't know.
Must be quite freeing. Was it frightening at any point when you?
It's terrifying every day.
Right, okay.
Every day, yeah. Every day is terrifying, but it's in the same way that it has to be. Like that's what life should be. Life should be terrifying. Complacency, and maybe it's not. Some people, that they have kids and they've settled down and they say, he's talking bad about my life. No, not at all. Yeah. That's just not how my life went. Yeah. I was actually in a room. I was in an AA meeting, and there was this old guy. God, he was like a 60-year-old, just like Brooklyn, New Yorker, And he starts talking. You share all the time in these meetings, and he's like. He starts talking. He sounds like the dumbest guy. You wait for him to say like the dumbest crap you'll ever hear. He's like, I started out with this, and I was over in this room, all right? Like, Marlon Brando ate there once. The food was all right. Grub was okay. And anyways, I thought, someone said to me, you got to swing at what's pitched to you, baseball term, you know? You got to swing at what's pitched. He's like, I thought some broad was from Connecticut was going to marry me, and she'd be rich, and I would just, be a trophy husband. But you know what? I'm a lineman, and I've been a lineman. I've been an electrician for 28 years, and I go home alone, and that's okay. And I was like, oh my God, like just the whole, you swing at what's pitched kind of thing. Just take whatever your life is and run with it. And so, that's just not me. I've done it. I've faced the marriage route, and it just didn't work out. And then I was in another relationship, had an apartment, and that just didn't work out. And I'm like, throw the cards in the air. Just see what happens.
Right.
I don't know.
No, I love it.
That was long.
No, I love it, and I love that kind of philosophy, because I'm very much about controlling everything and trying to hang on. And it's partly marriage, partly mental health issues, partly, addiction, partly whatever. And I'm trying to control stuff, and I'm trying to, and the message of the rooms is, we are powerless. Grant me the serenity, except I'm powerless, and all that stuff. And I'm struggling with powerlessness. I'm struggling with handing it over. And I'm trying to control stuff. And the thing is, when I try and control stuff, when people try and control stuff, it doesn't work.
Right.
You've just got to go with it, man.
Yeah.
Acceptance.
You've got
that. I'm loving the
fact
you've
what's
got
happened
that.
with me in the last sort of 3 years? I always had my life planned out. I did what I was supposed to do, and I had a really stable job at the BBC with a pension and, like all the plans and all that stuff. And the frightening part was I knew exactly where I was going to be in 10 years' time, and it wouldn't be a hell of a lot further on, but, secure.
Yeah.
Which is great for some people, but it frightened the hell out of me.
Yeah.
And so, for the last 3 years, I've been saying yes to stuff where before I would say I took myself out of it. I would see the hurdles before I got to them and go, I don't want to do it. I don't think I can do that, so I'm not going to go in that direction. Right. Now I'm taking a run up.
I've just worked out who he looks like.
Go on.
Peter Serafinowicz.
Peter Serafinowicz. Yeah, I get that all the time. I get that all the time. Yeah.
And you look, there's the eyes. I can't not see it.
There's a YouTube comment that says LOL, buff Peter Serafinowicz.
Buff Peter Serafinowicz.
They're gonna.
I'm sorry if everyone said that. I've gotten
that once or twice.
I got it, and it's the eyes. Oh man.
Yeah.
I think you're brilliant. I love it. God bless Keith and Hemda for putting us in touch.
Even
though we need to tell them that we were in the room with him last year.
Yeah, that's wild.
That is freaky. Dude, if you get sent back this way on your travels, come in again. You'd be very, very welcome to come in again.
Oh God, we need to catch up and find out what happened.
Yeah.
What were we watching?
Well, listen, even if you don't come back this way, we'll speak on the phone. We'll get you on the phone at some point.
I can call in
a couple of months or something and see where you are and see what's happening. And
to compound this,
I've
never left the U.S. before. This is my first time out of the U.S.
I mean, you're not messing around, are you?
Oh, this guy's nuts. I love it. How can I ask how old you are? 'Cause I can't tell.
29.
29. Okay,
yeah.
So you're a young man, and this is a common thing with Americans. People say, 75% of Americans don't have passports. Well, they don't need them because America's got everything. People forget. Well, it's vast, and you've got every weather climate there. You've got every kind.
Yeah.
So I don't quite buy. I don't get so much fun out of that fact that a lot of Americans don't have passports. But this is your first trip abroad, and you're doing it all.
I'm doing it all.
Bless you, man. We need more people like you because I love this. This is great.
I've always struggled with what I want to be, and I realized that Forrest Gump, and there's a movie called Big Fish also, which is a more fantastical version, but it's just those weren't. I mean, Forrest Gump, I guess, was kind of he was a hero or whatever, but it's just it's about the stories that you touch. Whenever you interact with somebody's timeline, you want it to be in a positive way, and that's really it. Because Forrest Gump wasn't a national hero, but he just impacted a lot of people, and that's his story. It's just weaving through a lot of people's lives and having a positive impact. And I was like, that's what I just want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Rogers, right?
Yeah, the Mr. Rogers.
This keeps coming up. The Mr. Rogers film, Won't You Be My Neighbour, which I talked about last time I came back from the States. You've seen it now,
I've seen it this
Kath.
weekend. It was incredible.
You saw it, Richie, in the same way that I did, just on a whim, not really knowing that much about the guy, and you found it kind of like a spiritual kick up the backside.
Yes, and then I went back exactly 1 week later to watch it like therapy. I had to go back for a second view, a second cry, a second cleanse, just to study that again, because it's so beautiful, so pure.
I'm trying to organise a screen. It comes out on DVD in September. I thought I could get it when it comes out in September. I'm going to try and organise a screening or something of it, because I'd love people to see it. Richie, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Right, guys, if you want to tell him where to go, so to speak, if you tweet at Unguided Nations, I'll tweet all of this during the news at 11, but Unguided Nations is what you've got to remember. It's unguidednations.com, at Unguided Nations. Go to YouTube and type in Unguided Nations. It pops up, and you can watch his films, and you can chat with him, I guess, on Twitter, and you can make suggestions as to, places that he might want to see. Maybe you live in Bath and you want to invite him round for a cheese sandwich. I don't know, any of that stuff. Put it out there, man. Play nice. Play nice. Twitter can be a weird.
It can, yeah.
A weird place.
Instagram Live too. I'll be doing a lot of that. Instagram Live, where I go live. I'm just talking to people on the street.
Brilliant, brilliant. All right, we'll play nice and have fun, because he's a nice guy, and I think this is, we like to celebrate people doing unusual stuff, and this is unusual. Hey, so nice to meet you, man. Thank you very much for coming in. We will speak again.
Yes.
0344 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
03444991000 is the phone number at Unguided Nations. What a nice bloke. And welcome back to the show. Sam, it's great to see you. I believe you've been producing while I've been away. The world's disappeared up his own ass. Lots to talk about. Let's go to the phones, though. Good evening, Alan. Right, he's asleep. Good evening, Kasif.
Hello?
Hello, Kasif.
Yes, yeah, I'd handle your song, mate.
Okay, thanks very much. So, 03444991000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You'd be very, very welcome to. No more YouTube, no more Periscope. That comes from the bosses on high. That's a direct imperative from Murdoch that we're not allowed to do it. And it's partly my fault. I shouldn't have sworn at people on Periscope. That's my fault. That with James, laughing at what he laughed at, and me swearing at people, so it's gone. So that's gone. That's done and dusted. It was fun while it lasted. But do make sure that you know how to listen to the show. You can download the Talk Radio app or listen to us on any of the, the radio app, Radio Player and TuneIn and all of that stuff. You can listen to us on DAB, or of course you can go to, talkradio.co.uk, and there's a daily podcast. That chat with Richie will go out as a podcast tomorrow. The Best of Tonight show will go out as a podcast, and all of that stuff, man. All of that stuff. I always struggle to remember how to do a radio show after I've been off from doing a radio show for a week. And it's a bank holiday. But thank you to Catherine and Katie. I was in New York last week. I had the best time with my two boys. Oh, man, it was a joy. It was a joy. I only met two, as I call them now, assholes. One was a guy on the plane back. We had a little bit of the elbow wars. Where he had a go at me for leaning over the armrest, which he'd commandeered. And I wasn't, because I had my back to him. So when my boy then sat in that chair, and I saw this guy with basically about 3 inches of arm over the armrest, I took great pleasure and said, excuse me, mate, can you give my boy some room, please? And the other asshole, we went to see School of Rock. I went to see School of Rock on Broadway, I'll have you know, the greatest theatrical district in the world. Get this, Kath, talking about the two assholes I met on my break. Wow. So went to see School of Rock on Broadway. And we didn't get the best seats, but we got better seats than I thought. Here's what I've learned as I get older. All of the maps of cinemas and theatres make the cinemas and theatres look a lot bigger than they actually are, don't they?
Yes.
So I bought these seats, and they were $99 each. So that's expensive, right? Weren't the most expensive. One row forward was going to be $125. Wow. 10 rows forward would have been closer to $200, right?
But I get it. The justification is, New York, it's only a week. It's a trip of a lifetime.
Boys, it's a trip of a lifetime, and they were great seats.
Sure.
Right? We sat in the aisle, 1, 2, 3, right? And I got two boys, and so it was going to be boy, me, boy. And the youngest boy said, "Can I get a booster?" I went, "Sure." And I said to the eldest boy, who's 8, and he's tall, and I said, do you want to try a booster? I don't think you'll need one, but do you want to try one? He went, "Yeah, I'll try one." And I saw the woman behind him, right, talked to Guy 2 seats away from her. She sort of looked at him, pulled her face, and went, sort of shook her head, And I saw her say, "He doesn't need a booster." And I just sucked it in, and I said to him again, "Do you want to try a booster? If you want to try one, you can try one, and if you don't, you don't have to. But if you try one, you don't want it, you don't have to have it, because they're not very common." And he went, "Yeah, I'd like to try one, please." And she looked at the guy, sort of shook her head, and just went, "That kid doesn't need a booster." So I went and got a booster.
Also, here's the thing. Keep your voice down.
Yeah.
We speak the same language. I know my accent's a bit different.
So I went... Yours is very different. So I went and got a booster for him, and he sat on it, and he didn't need it.
No.
I said, "OK, I'll go and take the booster back." And I could sort of see her do, like, a pantomime relief to this guy.
Idiot.
And so I came back, and I said, "Do you know what, son? Why don't you move in the middle? I'm going to sit there." And this woman, this old woman, went, "Oh, please don't do that." I said, "Excuse me? Please don't sit there." I said, "Why not?" "Well, I won't be able to see."
You should have got her a booster.
Well, we did joke about that. She said, "I won't be able to see." I said, "I couldn't care less." "I beg your pardon?" I said, "I couldn't care less. I've spent $100 on each of these tickets. My concern is that if my boys can see. My concern is not if you can see. If you can't see because someone is in front of you, that's your issue. And she sort of gave me this look, and I said, I saw what you said when I was going to get my boy a booster. I didn't say anything. I said, yes, you did. Yes, you did. I was going to get my boy a booster, and you pulled a face. I don't have a problem with him sitting on a booster. I said, now you're lying to me, because I'd seen it!
And heard it.
I said, and I was tired. This was like Wednesday, and I was tired and pissy, right? And my kids hated it. But I was very polite. I said, I saw what you said to this gentleman. You got upset if he was going to sit on a booster. Well, listen, I've got these 3 seats. I'll sit wherever I want in these 3 seats. I did not say anything about your son on a booster. I said, yes, that said his name. I said, son, do you want to sit there? And he said, yes. I said, okay, I'll sit in the middle. And the woman then kind of sighed. And then she's behind me, and I'm sat there, and I'm fuming, but I'm keeping it cool for the kids, because they hate that kind of confrontation. And she turned to the guy, and she went, seriously?
Oh,
and I heard it. And so I turned over my shoulder and went, yeah, seriously. Turned back. And she turned to the guy again. Seriously? I said, yeah, seriously. Did it 5 times.
Oh, God.
And I said, I'll keep saying seriously as long as you want. Oh, my God. And then she may have mouthed it, and it was...
she went...
well, I did one under my breath as well. Of course I did.
He's such a child.
But it was, and the boys hated it, and afterwards I explained to them, and it was very calm, it was very polite. That's what made it so menacing. It was we only got 45 seconds. It was very, very polite, right? And I said afterwards, how did that make you feel? And they said, well, it made us uncomfortable. And I said, yeah, she was rude, and she was, but then they said, but that bit when you kept saying, yeah, seriously, that was funny. And so for the first 20 minutes of the play, I've got this rage.
Yeah.
Because she was the only person in New York who was rude to me and my kids. Everyone else, they saw the kids, they made a fuss of them, they chatted to them, they ignored me. This one woman had the gall to pull a face because my son was going to try a booster seat. Get lost, you silly mare. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. This is the Late Night Alternative Bank Holiday Special with Iain and Kath on Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
After all these implements and text designed by intellects so vexed to find evidently there's still so much that hides. And though the saints of us divine in ancient feeding lines, their sentiment is just as hard to pluck from the vine. I'll try hard not to pretend, allow myself no mock defense, step into the night, since I don't have the time nor mind to figure out the nursery rhymes that helped us out and make a sense of our lives. The cruel, uneventful state of apathy releases me. I value them, but I won't cry every time one's wiped out. I'll try hard not to give in, rattle down to feather wind, read my head in this pretend, allow myself no mock defense, step into the night. into the night.
Shut the phone in.
This is the great thing. Now I've got the office set up on the farm. Yeah, I do just the
That's his cat noise.
It's Frankie Howard. Enough of that, though. 0344 499 1000, the late night alternative. The A-Team is back. And by that, I mean Matthew Wright. Started first day today for Matthew Wright. The odds of us bumping into each other very slim. You know that John Peel and David... This is a true story. It sounds like I'm making this up. John Peel and David Kidd Jensen once waited in a car park to beat up another radio presenter, and I can't think who it was.
Really?
That's a true story. Let's go. Don't Google it. Let's work this out. Nick, I'll be with you in a second. This is more important, I'm afraid.
Mike Reid.
I was thinking Mike Reid. No, but one that they found was really irritating.
Savile.
No. It's a true story. There was a third presenter there. It might have been Mike Reid. Oh, was it Simon Bates?
Oh, no.
Google it now. What did John Peel and David Kidd Jensen hang out in the BBC car park once to beat up Simon Bates? That's what I'm going to say it was.
Car park.
True story. Absolutely true story. I wouldn't lie to you. In fact, I need to talk to you about lies, guys. I need to talk to you. Remind me. Lies.
No, DLT, was it?
Oh, it was DLT! That was it! They did! They didn't jump him in the end. We know a bit about jumping, hey? But, I mean, 'cause he likes wearing jumpers. What are you talking about?
Waistcoats, actually.
But there we go. Oh, Edmonds was the jumpers. But yeah, they waited in the car park to duff him in.
He's a big man.
A while ago, I had a guy on the show called Niko Omilana.
No, it was Simon Bates.
Was it? Oh.
Hang on, yeah.
Sorry, Nico, you're going to have to wait even longer, because this is some story.
But then it says they both hated DLT.
Okay.
Probably both.
Okay.
Probably both, eh?
So we had a guy on the show called Niko Omilana who... are you going to finish? I've introduced the guy 3 times now. We've got to talk to this guy.
Talk to Niko Omilana.
Oh, let's get... and he makes videos and he's funny and stuff like that. Nico's on the line. Good evening, Niko.
Hello.
There's that pause. There's that pause again. Well, I'm doing really badly, right? And I'm going to speak in code.
Okay.
But Kath has just told me, literally, while that song was playing, the result of a little something we did.
Oh, Frank. Yeah.
It did. And I've just texted you, so you got a text from me on your phone. I didn't know that it ended so badly.
Yeah, no, so basically, the prank is done. I can send it to you, but I can't post it online until I resolve it in some way.
Oh, I want to see it, but I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it. But we can't say anything about it, can we?
Not yet.
Wow. But Niko basically got some compromising pictures of me. And he...
Oh, wait. No, you can say it on the radio show what we did, but I just can't post it.
But can I say what happened?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah.
Well, can you say what happened?
Okay, well, basically, I called upon Iain and Catherine to do a prank on my friend Johnny. I don't know if any of you, frequent listeners, remember Johnny and I were on the show in person. How long ago was it? Like a month ago now?
About a month ago, and we were all wearing Tidal T-shirts, and not Tidal,
Brooklyn Tidal.
Brooklyn Tidal. And it was you both came on to talk about your stuff and Brooklyn Tidal and this new exciting YouTube project that we had going, and it was all a wind up against your mate.
Yes, it was.
Your ex-mate, sorry, your former friend.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. I'm sorting out the situation, but right now it is former friend, but
He was
work it
told
out.
that we were going to pay him, what was it, 25 grand?
Yeah, and then 5 grand.
25 grand.
We were throwing money
We were going to
around.
pay him 25 to 30 grand for sponsorship deal. He got a little boner going, got excited, as you would, as any young man would, with that amount of money being waved in your hands.
He was talking to you about
know,
buying a Mercedes, wasn't he?
And
Mercedes.
Catherine has just told me, just during that song, I didn't know, that when you revealed to him it was a prank, it didn't really go as well as it didn't really go as well as you'd hoped.
No, it didn't.
Okay.
Were punches thrown?
No, but it was not pretty.
But can I just ask you one important question? Did you film the ugliness?
No. So basically, at one point, I filmed it. I filmed the reaction, but then at one point he said, "Turn the cameras off." So I was like, "Okay, turn them off."
Wow.
And then since then, I've just been working on trying to resolve the situation.
Well, listen, I think I'm going to have to hand in my membership card to the NDL because this is yeah, seriously, dude, I'm going to burn it. This is not what I signed up for. I signed up for a little bit of joshing. I didn't want to drive a young man to suicide, which it sounds like we got close to it.
No, I'm sure it'll turn out all right.
Is that why you sent me a text? I got a text a while ago going, "Hi Ian, the video turned out amazing. Thank you so much for your help. I'm trying to make the whole concept into a 3-part series. I thought a great ending would be actually getting Virgin involved to make it up to Johnny. Do you think this is possible? And if so, have you got an email I could reach out to?" And I just replied, "No." Was that what that was?
Yeah, that's what that was.
Oh, Niko.
Oh, Niko! I can't believe. How many of your other videos that you've made have you not been able to air because of sensitivities, or are we the only one?
No, this is the only one because it's my friend. Like I want it to be. I don't want it to end like this because he's my friend.
Ex-friend. Okay.
You're going to have to buy him a Mercedes.
Now, Niko came to our attention when he went. There's some really, really funny videos. Really funny. This guy is well, I was going to say fearless, but I watched the fight you went to, and you were bricking it. But he went undercover at the EDL and wound up the EDL, and that kind of brought, he's been getting, his videos get hundreds of thousands of hits, and but that was the one that I think kind of brought you to the mainstream. But your last, well, there's two things. I watched the video today of you at that silly fight by
Logan Paul,
the suicide boy, this is Japanese suicide boy. Is that Logan Paul?
Uh-huh.
And another guy who I don't know because I'm a 45-year-old dad. And they had a big boxing match over the weekend or something in Manchester. Is that right? Because I've been away. I've missed all this.
Yeah, they had a big boxing fight.
And you
boxing fight.
Have you seen that whole video?
No.
Man, it's funny. It's one of my favourites, right? But so your plan is you want to get in the ring.
Yeah, because basically it's the biggest event, like in YouTube, like a live event, like definitely, but the biggest event in YouTube history. So I thought it's a great way to pull off a stunt
that won't piss off a friend of yours. But and I'm not going to give it away, right? I'm going to give. There's one bit where he's got to get wristbands printed up, right, that say ringside. So he goes to this printers, and the guy says, "Well, why do you need ringside on it?" "Oh, it's my name."
Oh, Niko.
And the guy's going, "You sure your name is Ringside?" He goes, yeah, it's my name. Oh, I watched that bit 3 times. It was so funny. I was in hysterics. It's a very, very funny video. I think your friends play a blinder in this as well. I'm going to be honest, man. Those guys are the stars. Their little looks to camera, they play an absolute blinder. With the bit where one of your mates escorts you off the premises, it's so good.
Oh yeah, Chunks.
It's
Chunks.
He gets chucked out. I'll take him. He's his mate. But there was a bit though, man, where you wobbled when you're about to do what you're about to do, and you can see the fear in your face. How do you overcome that fear, Niko?
I just think afterwards, because I'm my own toughest critic, and afterwards I know I'd regret it, and I'd kick myself so much. So it's sort of like I feared that more than I feared the ring. So I just went for it.
But then here's the beautiful thing that happened while you were at this silly fight between 2 idiots. Someone shouts out in the video, Tommy Robinson is here. The vile racist thug who went to prison for when a copper tried to stop him beating up his missus. He hit the copper. He went to prison for it. And of course, you've got a great connection with the EDL. You started the NDL, the Niko Defence League, as a tribute to those guys and so there's now another clip going around of you. Oh, I've just remembered what you get Logan Paul to say as well. I'm not going to say it, but it's funny, man. But there's another clip with you and Tommy Robinson. So you how did you bump into him?
So basically, his son, Tommy Robinson's son, is a big Jake Paul fan. So I turned up to this thing to film a clip where I said, got Logan to say that thing. I turn up there, I walk in the door, Logan and Jake hadn't arrived yet, but I see Tommy Robinson, and I turned back around, looked at the camera, and I was shocked. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's Tommy Robinson.
Yeah.
So I thought at that moment that he'd know who I was, because obviously like it's EDL sort of stuff. And I know he's not part of the EDL anymore, but like he's still connected.
He's still racist, yeah. He's still connected by philosophies, yes.
Oh, and he's still their poster boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they all want to free him. They all want to turn up to his marches and stuff like that. So I turned up, and then I just made sure I got like an interview with him.
And so did you? Because the clip I've seen is him saying something like "big up the NDL."
Yeah.
Did you get any more with him, or was that what you got?
Yeah. I also tweeted a video where I actually interviewed him.
Oh, I've not seen that.
The problem was he didn't know who I was, and he was with his son as well. So it was sort of like I didn't want to like overdo it. So I was just acting like he was my big inspiration.
Yeah, don't embarrass him in front of his boy.
And the thing is, I bet he loved that as well, didn't he?
You could see it from his face.
Yeah, well, the thing is, because I saw him at the fight when he was coming out of the toilet, and obviously, like, the Independent made an article about it, the Daily Mail made an article about it, and he walked out of the toilet and he saw me, and he came over to me, and the problem was, like, he was being really nice to me. So he was like, "Oh, I saw your EDL video. It was very funny and stuff like that."
Wow.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I really wasn't sure how to react.
Well, this is the thing. This is why you should never meet people, because most people are really nice. You know, maybe fascists and racists, but most people are nice. Just Niko, stay there, because I'm just going to mute my mic. So I'm just going to tell Catherine what you got Logan Paul to say. Hang on a second.
Okay.
It's good. It's a really good.
Idiot.
It's such a good video. Okay, so you've right. Oh, I've not seen the. You've seen the interview, have you, Catherine? Have you seen?
No, I've just seen the little clip that you put up on
the
Twitter.
interview is out there, right? We'll check this. Are you still getting, backlash from the EDL lot, or has that died down now?
No, yeah, it's died down completely now. Like, I think the Tommy Robinson, him endorsing the movement, has just made it like even more so. Like, I haven't had like a single message from any of them.
He's endorsed the movement. Niko, we love you so much. Apart from the fact that you've now involved us in a
scandal,
a scamming scandal. Let us know if we can do anything that doesn't really put us out. You know, it doesn't take up much more than 10 minutes of our time to help.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry about that last one.
Niko, if people want to join the NDL, if they want to support the NDL, where are the best places to go to?
Niko Omilana on Twitter, Niko Omilana on YouTube, and Niko Omilana on Instagram.
All right, man. We'll tweet all that stuff again. Always good to talk to you, man. You give us a call any time.
There you go. Thank you very much. Ben.
Very good. Thank you, Niko. 03444991000. This is Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Oh, man. 03444991000 is the telephone number. It's always a thrill to come back and do the radio show after having a week off. It's always a joy. That week went so quickly, man. God, I love New York. My kids loved New York as well. I've got to tell you about, remind me to tell you about Ninja Restaurant, medieval times, and baseball. I'm into sports now. Baseball. Ever been to a baseball game? Oh, it's amazing. 0344 499 1000. Good evening, Martin.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Oh, have you got a bit of a sore throat?
You know, it's funny to say that. It's been a bit croaky. I don't know what it is. I smoke like an idiot, so, you know, that's what it is.
When you say you smoke like an idiot, do you mean you're sticking the cigarettes up your bum?
Well, no, the idiocracy of my body is my mouth.
Okay.
And, gets me in a lot of trouble. So.
Well, as long as it's just cigarettes you're putting in there willy-nilly, so to speak.
Definitely.
He said, looking at where the camera used to be.
Hey, sweetheart, I bet you can do a mean Rocky, Rocky and, what's his name? Just wait on, sweetheart. Yeah, Adrian. Do me an Adrian.
Adrian! Adrian! Adrian!
I love you, Adrian. We can fight.
I love you, Adrian! Adrian!
Yeah, that's it. Look, I phoned you up to be a bit serious.
You want to be serious?
Hang on. Wait, we'll be serious over this. Getting stronger. Yeah.
Don't make me do Jackie Stallone.
Do it.
Yeah, Jackie!
Hang on a minute, Martin. There's a time and a place for seriousness, and it's not while the Rocky theme is playing. Here we go.
I came into this house to hang out with the brightest stars in the universe, with chandeliers and fine wines, and all I get is trash.
Who would have thought that a guy that had done so much damage to his face via plastic surgery would be a nut
Tell
job?
me about it. Tell me
And
about
who'd have
it.
thought someone like Hardeep Singh Kohli could be such a dirty get? I mean, really?
No,
Who'd have thought?
I think there's an aging, you know, because you think, you know, Lovejoy?
Lovejoy?
Yeah, he's aged bad, hasn't he? You know, Lovejoy, and the fellow was in Jaws.
Lovejoy's done what?
Bad. He aged pretty badly, did Lovejoy, don't you think?
I can't understand a word Mike's saying. Is he saying
He
something
says
like
he aged pretty badly, Lovejoy, but I think he's doing all right.
Well, he's had loads of stuff done.
Has he?
Obviously, he's had loads of stuff done.
He had his lips done. It's the lips that do it.
Lovejoy's what, 73?
Can the lady there do an Adrian for me, please?
Sorry?
Adrian!
I can't understand a word that Martin is saying.
All right, I'll try my best. I want to talk tonight about the death of Tommy Cooper.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah. Have you ever seen his death when he died on stage?
Yeah, I watched it go out on live TV. I was about, what year was that, 82? So I would have been about 8 or 9 years old. I saw it happen on live TV.
Well, I'm 50, but the thing is, you know, do you realise when she put that coat on him, the inside of that coat liner was silver.
Right.
And what I'm trying to get at is when people have accidents, they put silver on them to heat them up. I mean, do you think that the silver of that coat, because he just dropped dead? And I'm thinking, could it have been that reflectable silver in that coat that he had on?
Well,
I think something into him.
For those who don't know, Tommy Cooper died on live television. Collapsed on stage. And if I remember correctly, they dubbed snoring over it or something to make it look. But I thought he had a heart attack. I didn't realise it was silver coat.
No, because the silver lining, it's like, I can't understand when people are in accidents like 7-7 where they put silver foil around them.
Well, they do at the end of marathons as well, don't they?
What does that exactly do? Does it reflect heat or energy? What would that do?
Catherine, you don't need to mime it to me. A, I know the answer, and B, you can say it if you want to look clever.
No, I'd like you to tell me.
Go on, Catherine, you tell Martin.
It's the heat thing. It's conserving heat, isn't it?
Yeah, but...
It's like when you wrap a chicken in silver foil and put it in the oven. Keeps the heat in.
Yeah, but you're not actually wrapped. You're not as tightly wrapped as
Tommy Cooper was.
As it denotes. You'd expect to be sealed wrapped to keep the heat in, but they just slap them on and expect people to walk around draped in silver foiling. So maybe Tommy Cooper, that silver, because the lining of that coat was silver, and as soon as you put the coat on him, you just drop dead. And I'm thinking, could it have been anything linked to that silver in the coat?
We are talking about a death that happened 34 years ago, Columbo.
Well, I talk about 30 years have been yesterday to me because life is so...
It's time travel, isn't it?
It is fast.
By the way, I'm starting a new podcast about time travel movies. Me and this guy Elton just emailed me saying, do you fancy doing a podcast about time travel movies? And normally I bat those ideas away, and I went... Yeah, go on then. Yeah, sure. Why
Do
not?
do you believe in time travel? What's about people who can tell the future? That's a form of time traveling.
Well, that's bullshine. Telling the future is bullshine.
No, it isn't. Because I'll tell you what I'll tell you my situation. I left my flat to go to a corner shop about maybe 15 years ago, and I could smell this chemical effect in the air. Yeah. And I said to myself, I bet you a ship's crashed in the ocean about 70 miles away from where I live, and the fumes must have been drafted in from 70 miles away. But yeah, I predicted that a container ship must have collided or something. And I came in, put the news on, and they said that a ship had crashed and thus had made the chemicals waft into the air 70 miles offshore. Now, the thing is as well, I have a lot of spiritual things with me. So one time I said to myself before I left my flat, I bet you a rock's going to hit the roof, and it's going to hit the roof and bounce on the grass. I shut the front door, locked it, and as soon as I locked it, I had this loud bang, turned around, and I could see the rock that I predicted bouncing along the grass.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Now, when I was in New York, right, now, I cannot say for certain that I didn't see this on the news, right? I cannot say for certain. I don't think I did, right? But when I was in New York, I started thinking about, do you remember Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous?
Yeah.
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Have a look at how the rich and elite of Hollywood really do live. Do you remember that show, Catherine?
A bit.
The British guy that used to host it, right? And so I was in New York and I thought, he was lying in bed in the morning. Yeah. You don't hear from that Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous guy.
Yeah.
Right? Turned on the news that night. He died that day. Now, I cannot say... I'd need to check what time he died. I cannot definitely say I hadn't seen it on a headline or something, but I genuinely don't think I did. And I was thinking about him, and then he died. Now,
I know, it's amazing. Now, this is...
I've listened to it. Hang on, this is him.
How lavish a lifestyle would you lead if you were the richest man on earth? In this world-exclusive edition of Lifestyles, we'll explore the fabulous private...
Is this quiet to you? Is the computer quiet? Whack it up. Whack the gain up.
Is so unbelievably
there we go.
lush, it has inspired blockbuster movies and novels.
He's dead now. That guy's dead.
Yeah,
now.
I know. See, the thing is, I've got a fear. You know, when you were going through puberty. Did you have a lot of dreams you were flying? When you look back?
I had a lot of dreams. I was.
No.
No. Because a lot of people I've asked said, they did go through that stage. Now, the funny thing is, when a person dies, people say you float above your body.
I used to. Okay. When I was 8, 9, 10, and this is true.
Yeah.
I used to have a lot of dreams.
Yeah.
That I was flying, but I was flying like 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah.
And it was like swimming. I could swim.
Like Banana Man.
I don't know, I don't get the reference. But I was swimming. Don't raise your eyebrows to me like that woman at the School of Rock.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. I would swim about 6 inches off the ground. I used to have that lot. And the dreams were so convincing, Martin, that I thought they were real. I really thought, a few times in my life, I actually tried to do it because I thought it was real.
But the thing is, it's like some people when they go through these near-death experiences, they get this floating over their body, and it's something that it's a theme that runs through a lot of these people who have suffered it. So maybe there is something to do with flying like angels above your body. It's probably just on the fringe of knowing what lies beyond death and the fringe of not knowing. So it's like when you go through puberty, your body goes through all these changes.
They say that when you go through puberty, you're more likely... Catherine's going to show me... Yeah, but he's not flying 6 inches off the ground. There's nothing like what I was doing.
Doing the front crawl.
She's showing me the opening to Banana Man. Jeez.
Seriously.
Yeah, seriously. When you go through puberty, you're more likely to have poltergeist. Poltergeist latch on to normally young girls who are going through puberty because the menstrual blood and the hormones released create
sex magic.
Not sex magic, Catherine, please, but it creates kind of like a magic based on sex.
Yeah, but I don't know about women.
what you'd
but
call
I know
that,
about men and flying and stuff. But women must go through it different to us, mustn't they?
They do. Yeah, they do. They do. Can I play? Do you listen to Howard Hughes' show, Martin?
I do. Yeah.
Load of old rubbish. But I listened to it last night, and there was another guy that time travelled. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play. This is the.
Sorry.
This was on Howard's show last night. This is a guy who claims he's time travelled. Have a listen. They've disguised his voice and his face.
Okay.
Here we go. It's going to. That's an advert. That's not. The guy's not a time traveller. That guy's a model. We'll just get past the advert.
Yeah.
And then we'll. Did we do the quarter past break? We did, didn't we? Yes, we did. Okay.
Okay. See.
Hello. Here it comes.
It's Michael Phillips, and I'm a time traveller. I was born in 2043. At the age of 18, I joined the army, had a few years there, and then I was recruited into the SES, the 21st SES Regiment to be exact.
It's Ross Kemp.
You see, there's a lot of schizophrenic people who go through all visions and stuff. Because I'm schizophrenic, and there's a lot of knowing some of what the future holds. But because of the illness, you get exhausted with it, so you have to take medication to try and control it and stuff.
Well, have a listen to this guy. Let me know if you think this guy's real. Hang on, there's only about a minute left. Here we go.
A number of missions in countries that I'm not allowed to name because I've signed the Official Secrets Act.
You haven't signed it yet.
And from there, I was contacted by a government department that called themselves Section 18.
Sounds convincing.
They told me they were a reconnaissance unit. However, it turned out to be something quite different. So I was then transferred to MOD Bottom Down, and there they took me into a hangar.
Listen to the science of it.
And in that hangar, I saw this 8-foot-sized spheroid object. I was then briefed on what this object actually was. Turns out it was a time machine.
Yeah.
This time machine, it uses two micro-singularities, one at the top and one at the bottom, to power the craft into it creates a gravimetric distortion, and distortion then tears a hole in time-space.
Now that to me
It's the same word.
Well, I'll tell you a story. Before I go, I'll tell you a little story. You know Joanne Lee's a lady who got kidnapped in Australia?
Yes, and her partner died, yes.
Yeah, well, her dad lives 3 doors away in a house.
I know, I've got to listen to this really, really carefully. Just to get, you believe what?
Her dad lives 3 doors away from me. And I was off medication about 20 years ago, and when I'm off medication, I get silly. So I went to her house, to Dad's house, to sit with him, to sit with Joanne, and Joanne was there. And I sat a few minutes, and I left, so she must have thought, why did you do that? Then a few months after, she got kidnapped, and before she got kidnapped, I had a vision of her in my flat putting lipstick on. And I thought, what does this vision mean? And she got kidnapped, and one of the things they found when she got kidnapped was lipstick.
Oh,
and, so it proves that...
proves it?
Yeah, it's a bit spooky. Anyway, I've got a little joke for you. A Rastafarian who costs the NHS a lot of money goes to the doctors, and the doctor says to him, Mr. Dreg, how can I help you today? So he says, me cannabis. And the doctor returns and says, you cannabis, then try drinking 2 litres of water a day.
Thank you very much indeed, Martin. That was a delightful joke, and I think we got away with that. 0344 499 1000. Good evening, Raymondo. Hello, Ray. Oh, you're too slow. Let's play that trail then.
The wild man of late night radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
By the way, here's something for the kids. 2 guests we're hoping to have on the show soon. DJ Doug Pound. Some of you, a lot of you will get it. DJ Doug Pound does this podcast called the Poundcast, and some of you will dig it. Some of you will hate it. But a friend of mine was on there. A guy called Max Tundra. I've not seen him for 16 years, but he used to he's this DJ. He's the guy that did the Daphne and Celeste album and stuff, and he was never a close friend, but he was kind of in a circle that I would sometimes be in a circle with, and he's a really nice guy, Ben. But Max Tundra was on it. But also, if you want to listen to, and I can't play any of it on the radio, if you want to listen to the most offensive, litigious, depraved podcast, find the listen to the episodes of the Poundcast with Rock and Roll Gary on. I have no idea how those things are allowed on. Honestly, it's funny. It's Tim Heidecker doing this character. I'm Rock and Roll Gary. But it's really offensive. Some of you will not find the humour at all acceptable. It's very, very base. There were bits of it that I was listening to going, ooh, mate, that's a bit far.
What you did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it really is. But I'm putting it out there. I'm not listening to many of the other episodes. I plan to. But he's coming on, hopefully. But also, guy who told me to DM him today. I'm waiting for his reply. Wayne Kramer. You know Wayne Kramer?
No.
Right, okay. Let me play you let me play you a little bit of his greatest hit. Hang on a second. See if I can find the. Here we go. This is. Just gonna play you the beginning of Wayne Kramer's greatest hit. Okay, you'll know this.
Kick out the jails, brothers and sisters!
Okay.
And I'm so pleased it was that version, not the other version. Yeah, the guitarist from the MC5 is coming on the show, guys. He's written a book. I cannot wait to read the book. But Wayne Kramer is coming on the show. 0344 499 1000. Someone sent me this, and I can't remember who, so apologies. Couple, this is in the Mirror. Couple desperate for a baby, told they've been... Have you seen this?
No.
Couple desperate for a baby, told they've been having sex the wrong way for 4 years, and wife is still a virgin. The woman admitted sex was usually painful, but doctors were stunned when they realised why she was not getting pregnant. A married couple, desperate for a baby... Sam's loving this. Sam's been there. You've been there, buddy. High five, Sam. A married couple, desperate for a baby, have been told they've been having sex the wrong way for 4 years.
I mean, is there a wrong way?
Which is why they've been able to conceive. Come here, yes? That's what I'm talking about. The pair, who have not been named but are aged 26 and 24, sought out professional advice after having no joy getting pregnant. I mean, we're laughing at this. It's a really sad story. But it's funny.
Well, it's two people who've slipped through the sex education net.
Slipped through something. I don't think they slipped. I think it was more of a force. But
oh my God.
Yes. But yeah. I mean, I guess it's a sad story. But
it is. I mean,
if it gets to a bit that says that, it's it. They sought out professional advice after having no joy getting pregnant, despite having intercourse regularly. But alarm bells rang when medics discovered the wife was a virgin. She then admitted sex was usually painful for her every time.
Oh, God.
Obstetrician Yu Hongmei said the couple were very young, the man 26 and the woman 24. This is a really horrible story. It's a horrible story. They were healthy, but despite being married for 4 years, couldn't conceive. Their family was giving them a lot of stress because of it, she added. While asking about the wife's medical history during the visit, Liu was told the couple had sex regularly. The wife also revealed the experience was unusually painful for her every time, but she suffered through it in the hope of becoming pregnant.
Oh.
The woman's symptoms led doctors... Come on now, come on. The woman's symptoms... led Dr. Liu to believe she may have had some sort of gynecological disease, but Liu was shocked when an examination revealed the wife to be a virgin. It's China. According to China's Guiyang Evening Post, Liu's experience led her to inspect the woman's anus.
Oh, God.
It was then that the medic is said to have learned the couple had been mistakenly having anal sex. Mistakenly? For 4 years. 4 years? I'm lucky if I get 4 minutes! I don't know what that means. Resulting in their failure to conceive. Well, it would do. Dr. Liu reportedly handed the couple each a sex education handbook.
No! Do not leave this to them to read it. You want to sit them down for God. I mean, they might not be able to read.
She also gave them guidelines before they were sent home. The advice appeared to work. as news of the wife's pregnancy arrived just a few months later.
Appeared to work. It obviously worked.
They reportedly informed the now retired doctor that they were finally expecting by sending 100 eggs and a live hen as gifts to her former hospital.
Oh.
Okay. And then what they've done is they've put the stock pictures. They've got stock pictures, right? Library pictures.
God.
So with the
How
caption,
do you illustrate that?
With the caption, the couple have been having sex the wrong way for years. It's a couple sat on opposite sides of the bed.
If only that was the wrong way they were doing it.
Her with her back to him with it looking down with his head in his hands and said, why is it going wrong? He knew it was the wrong way.
Sound right. They're giving chickens as payment. Sounds to me like they live in like the arse end of nowhere.
Well, the arse end is the problem. That's the problem. You see, it was the arse end was the problem. Yeah. Well, that's a story to certainly get us all thinking how lucky that guy was for 4 years until he got busted, or she got busted. I don't know the ins and outs of it. Well,
Stop it.
Let's go to Ray. Ray's back. Hello, Ray.
Oh, hang on, I'm on speak. Hang on.
Right, well, take it. Okay.
Incredible.
I was ironing my shirt.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, you can iron a shirt with a phone under your neck. We've all done it.
Right. So you've got to obviously bring your A game this week and forevermore.
Sorry.
You've got to bring your A game because there were two people on last week who were fabulous.
Yes.
So just saying. That's all I'm saying.
Hashtag me.
Hashtag you and Katie.
I heard a bit of it. And let's just say, no threat. No, it was good shows. I love it. I love it. You know, you want people to replace you when you're away who are not as good as you. But in this case, I don't mind having someone who's as good as me, if not better than me. I think the bits I heard were brilliant. I did listen to some bits when I was in America when we weren't watching Family Feud and The Price is Right and various other things. And no, I think they're brilliant, and I think it's a thrill that Catherine Boyle and Katie Puckrick do the show when I'm not here. How flattering is that for me to have my best friend and someone who I think is flipping brilliant? That's not you, Catherine.
I know,
but that's Katie. But I do think you're flipping brilliant. I think it's great, and I bet they were great. And it's something for the lads as well at home.
What?
To have a little jostle too. Little late night jostle. That's what he's doing now, thinking about it. He's thinking back.
That's ridiculous.
That's what we're going to call it. Never mind late night alternative.
You're in his WB.
Oh,
his wireless bank. It's you and Vanessa Feltz and Petrie.
Oh, my Lord.
And Matthew Wright. Oh! So, right, Jeremy Kyle does a show now on Saturdays, right? And I must admit, I heard a bit of the first show, and here's the thing. I loved it. Have you heard Jeremy Kyle on Talk Radio, Ray?
Not yet, no.
Listen.
He winds me up.
No.
You think he does?
He's a completely different person on the radio. Have you heard it, Sam? It's good, isn't it? It's good. He had Farage on and that kind of stuff. Okay. But he's a complete...
He used to do late night on Absolute, didn't he?
Yes. But he is a completely different person on the radio than he is on the TV. Very, very fast, very loud, very energetic, right? He's absolutely... honestly, he's brilliant, right? And, well, anyway... I listened to I was driving to the dump, so I heard a bit, then I didn't hear some, then I went back to the dump and I heard a bit, and then I went into town, and then someone tweeted me saying, Jeremy Kyle's just mentioned you on his radio show. I thought, oh God, what has he done? This could be awful. Could you send me the clip? This is the clip.
I have to say this, because he's a friend of mine. Iain Lee is amazing. Okay, he did some showbiz stuff with us on Good Morning Britain. By the way, 6:00 Monday morning, we'll be there. And Iain Lee, it sort of reminds me of what I always wanted to do on the radio. So please give him a listen. Is it Monday to Friday? Is there Fridays? Oh, is it? Oh, look, Hayley, is she your? What is she?
She's my producer.
Yes, man. The Kyle loves it. Hang, just listen to the beginning. Listen.
I have to say this because he's a friend of mine.
Yes, man. I'm a friend. He's my friend. Yes, man, and we don't need no lie detector test there, because he tells the truth. Jeremy Kyle bigging me up. That's right. That's it. We've made it. We have made it.
Wow.
Anyway, I'd have a listen to his show if I were you. Honestly, I thoroughly enjoy the Nigel Farage and all that. That's fine. It's not my cup of tea, but it's his cup of tea. But the enthusiasm and the energy he has, and the way he was bandying around the word "dick" was a joy to listen to. It was a joy to listen to. I thought it was a really, really good show. So more of that, please. Just not Monday to Friday, 10 o'clock at night. All right, sounds like you're underwater, Ray. Thanks for calling. Jeremy Kyle, hang on.
I have to say this because he's a friend of mine. Iain Lee.
There we go. Is that computer really quiet?
Yeah.
What is going on, Sam? I'm gonna kick your butt. Try it again. Here we go.
I have to say this because he's a friend of mine.
It's because I only got one ear that works on these headphones. So tomorrow I'm doing time. I broke the law, and this isn't even a joke now. This is serious. I broke the law, and I'm having to serve the community. I've got a speed awareness course.
Oh.
So it means for 4 hours tomorrow, it's kind of like being in prison, in detention prison. 4 hours, I've got to sit in a room full of low-life scumbags, crooks, drug addicts, hookers, child molesters,
speeders. I think they're mostly speeders.
The dregs of society. And I've got to sit with those guys for 4 hours and be patronised.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm aware of speed, I do it a lot, fast. But I am sorry for my crime. I'm sorry for my crime, and I'm happy to repay society by, I think it costs 90 quid.
Yeah.
And sitting in a room pretending I'm listening for 4 hours. I'm happy to do that.
And avoiding the points.
Oh, is that what happens? You avoid the points, right?
I think
was
so.
unaware
Don't you?
of
Isn't that the point?
I was unaware of that.
I mean, other than correcting yourself.
I was doing it out of to help society. Wasn't aware I missed points as well. I've done a speed awareness course before, and you basically just watch videos of you get patronised a bit, you get asked about speeds, and then you get shown a video of a really horrific crash.
But you know all the answers now. You have to pretend you don't.
No, I don't. I'm doing that. That's tomorrow. Hey, but I'm into sport now, or I should call it sports, right? So in America, we packed. So I took the boys to New York, right, for 5 nights, and it's the longest I've been away with them on my own. Never taken them abroad on my own, and but the whole thing was a thrill. We stayed at Gatwick Airport Hotel the night before, and even that was apparently my eldest the night before in his sleep said, "I can't wait to stay in the hotel airport."
Oh.
And I'm thinking, whoa, this is a home run, to coin a phrase. This is a banker if he's excited about that. And the whole thing was a joy. The boys were great. They were well behaved for most of it. Lots of fighting and farting going on.
And the boys?
Yeah, well, we got the hotel, and the booking.com had messed up the booking, and there's only one bed, sir. I said, no, I definitely ordered 2. And then I checked the email. Actually, I'd only ordered 1, but in the form I'd ordered 2 anyway. And so we had to pay extra to get a second bed, and it was fun. We had a lovely room, quite a big room for New York. 2 double beds, nice shower, the boy kept saying a big TV, and it was great. And we crammed it full. Literally within hours of getting off the plane, we went to the Stardust Diner, which was kind of a shock to the system for everybody. And there was a school party upstairs, which were really noisy, and they kind of ruined it.
Oh.
And then the woman sat next to me was British, and as she left, she went, "Oh, you're from the..." "Yeah, I am." She went, "Oh, nice to see you." And then we bumped into her 4 days later. What are the chances of that? No, we just bumped into her in New York.
Gosh. So the Stardust Diner, for anyone who's not been
Yes.
to the Stardust Diner,
Yes.
People queue to get in there.
Oh, we queued, and the boys went, "Oh, this queue is a long queue."
Uh-huh.
We got at lunchtime, and I said, "Well, let's just ride it out." But then the woman came along, was going, "How big is your party? How big is your party?" And we said 3. Okay, fine. Then after 20 minutes, she came, "Table for 3, come this way." And we jumped the queue.
Wow.
Because we had 3, we jumped the queue.
So you go in there, and it's, the usual kind of diner, burgers and chip type place.
Yeah.
But with the difference in that the servers are also actors from Broadway.
Actors, and they all sing songs with Michael. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
But my boys' faces, like you've seen the picture of the moment.
There's a little bit of mortification at first because
Yeah.
it's just so full on.
And then the woman sat down next to my eldest and sang to him, and he just sat there looking at me going... But it was great. But it was literally, we'd landed 3 hours previously, and then maybe it was a little bit of a shock to the system. But you know me, when I get to a foreign country, I just like to get out and do stuff, We were great, and we went to bed at, a good time, and we watched movies, and we had a great time. But one of the highlights for me was I booked tickets to go and see a baseball game, the New York Mets. It was the Mets, not the Yankees, the Mets. And the game was at 1:10. And I'd booked, they weren't the most expensive, they were $50 tickets. and we were like one tier down from the top. So kind of at the front of the tier, but one tier down, out in the sun, and I'd forgotten sun cream. And I kind of thought, I'm not going to get the most expensive tickets because I don't know how long it'll go on for, and I think the boys will get bored, so we may only stay for an hour, 45 minutes, and I'll be cool with that, because I'd never been, but when you get there, and then I found out that the Mets used to play at Shea Stadium, and so I was kind of getting very excited about that. When you get there, and there's people queuing up, and we got our tickets, and we queued up, and you go in, and we kept going up and up, and because we were high up, man. And then we bought hot dogs, it was our first hot dogs in there.
Was the guy going up and down the
Yeah, but he was doing
selling...
beers and peanuts. He was doing cold beers, peanuts! So we went to the hot dog stand, and we were there for about an hour and a half, and my youngest said, how long have we got? And I Googled it, and it said, most games normally last 3 hours, 9 innings. I was saying, well, not long. But if we want to go, we can go. And I said to the eldest, you want to go? He said, no, I'm loving it. It was the most amazing, joyous, vibrant, family-friendly experience I've ever been to. And they got a bit bored after an hour or so, so we got up, we went to the gift shop, and I hadn't brought hats, and we were sat in the sun, so I bought them some baseball caps and bought them baseballs. And the woman, she had some sun cream, the woman running the shop, and I said, oh, by the way, this is the first baseball game we've ever been to. She went, oh my God, you get a certificate. If you go down there, honey, and you give them your name and address, they'll send the boys a certificate. So we went down and we gave our name and address. So they're going to get a certificate soon saying this is well done for coming to your first game. And we sat there and the boys are asking me the rules, and I didn't really know. And it was a very slow game. There was only 4 runs in the entire 3 hours, which is not a lot. But it was amazing. And each inning, what's great, right, is each inning lasts about 15 minutes. Right? Then the innings stop. Then you have a little bit of entertainment for 3 minutes. Like you have a guy, a punter has to fire a cannon and get a baseball to land on a big apple. And then there was another bit where these 2 punters were rolling giant dice. And then they had a kid trying to hit a home run over there. It was, it's all on this big screen. And the guy in front turned around to talk. The guy in front was a big guy from Wales. And he turned around and he said, can your boys see? I said, oh man, this is great. I said, the raking here is great. I said, no, they can see. And we were talking to him about how he loves baseball now and he's obsessed with it. And he doesn't really care who wins. He just likes the vibe. Then the woman behind saw that we bought ice cream and I didn't have any napkins. So she gave me some napkins. It was the most amazing atmosphere. And the boys stayed until the end. We were there for 3 hours and we had some pictures and it was incredible. And I loved it. And I'm sat there thinking, I think baseball could be my new thing. If we go back to New York, if we go to America again with the show, we have to go and see a baseball game.
I would love to. I mean, I told you to go because I'm not sports orientated at all. In fact, I hate it. I was force-fed sports from like when I can remember TV being on. Force-fed sports because my dad's a sports journalist. So I hate it. But when my sister was living out in Georgia, we went to see the Augusta Green Jackets. And again, it wasn't really about the game necessarily, although that was kind of fun. But, at the end, they let the kids all run the bases and it's not as big a stadium as the one you went to, but just the atmosphere was brilliant. There was stuff laid on for the kids. The food was amazing. The vibe, when you're talking about the vibe but also
incredible.
Like the announcer was just geeing everyone up, and like you say, there was always something to see.
One of the picture in the other team was called Bumgarner.
Brilliant.
Bumgarner. Honestly, I loved it, man. This is the Late Night Alternative, weeknights from 10 on Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
In a room, you and I are naked. In a moment like this, created the outside world could be so complicated. Close the door and we can't escape it. We can't escape it. We can't escape it. Yeah, a man walked on the A train, but naked, took a dump and then urinated. Everyone was so humiliated. The train doors closed, we couldn't escape it. I got $2 in my pocket. I'ma buy me a bullet and throw it away. So about some disputes are never resolved. In a room, a crowd gone dissolved. Just shut the door and don't get involved. Yeah, I got some money in my pocket. I'ma buy me a Glock and chuck it. Hey, hey,
That's Imani Coppola. My boys met Imani last week. They totally fell in love with her. You know, kids are like, my boys, I don't know if it's a common thing, but they're very shy at meeting new people. And she was kind enough she sent me an email Tuesday saying, are you in New York now with the kids? I went, yeah. She goes, are you free to meet up? I didn't know she was doing it to be polite. And I said, well, this is our schedule.
Hang on, this is Imani.
So this is our schedule. She said, okay, well, how about Friday? How about Friday? I'm free in the day. Why don't I see if I can find us a movie or something to go and see at the IMAX or something? I said, yeah, cool. And so she got back in touch. She said, right, I found this movie. And we're going to meet there. And I said to the boys, we're going to meet my friend, and she's a musician and an artist, and she's a little bit crazy, but I think you'll like her. She's got a wicked sense of humour. And she greeted them as we approached the cinema. She was in the distance. She started flossing. I said, there she is. And straight away, they were totally in love with her. There's a grown-up flossing in the middle of the street. And they instantly, there was no holding back. Instantly, they started doing their flossing, and she was great. She took us to see a weird movie, though. It was all subtitles.
Right.
Right. This was a 6 and an 8-year-old.
What language are they speaking?
Like caveman language.
Okay.
It was like made-up Neanderthal language. It's a film called Alpha, right? It's a bleak film, man. I don't know why she thought it was acceptable for kids. There were no other kids there. Right, it's in 3D. It's this film about this. Actually, it's a great film, right? But it's about these. It's set in caveman days, and so they're speaking like caveman language. 0344 499 1000. By the way, and then the caveman tribe leader thinks his son dies, so it goes back brokenhearted. But the son doesn't die, and it's about this son's journey to try and get home.
Right.
Right. And it's great. It's great, but it's bleak. And it was great. We got in the cinema. We had 4 seats. And I'm sat at one end. Imani sat down, and my boys sat either side of her. Either side. I said, well, boys, I'm going to have to sit down this end. And my youngest went, yeah, sure.
Dad who?
Yeah, totally. And it was so lovely to see. Because you know what my kids are like. And yours are a little bit like that as well. A bit shy with new people.
Yeah, it takes them a while to suss people
Straight
out.
away, sat either side of her. And then my youngest said, can you come and sit here and I'll sit on your lap. But so it was a bleak film. And I said to my youngest, you be able to read the subtitles? He went, well, some of them. So I helped him with some of the longer ones. But my eldest loved it. And it's because it felt like a grown-up movie. The same way that he watched The Greatest Showman on your recommendation on the way back.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a grown-up type of movie. It's not a kid's film. That's a better way of putting it. It's not a kid's film.
No, but there's enough in it that kids can enjoy.
And he felt grown up and watching this bleak story. And there's a bit where, like, you think the dog's going to die, and he was having a little. And I saw him having a little cry, and Imani went, "Are you crying?" And he went, "No, I'm fine." And then she walked us back to the hotel, and my youngest was showing off his Heelys and stuff, and it was so. I love that woman so much because she didn't have to do that, and she did it because she wanted to come and do it, and she bought the tickets, and she bought popcorn for the boys, and it's just she's got that thing that I like to think I've got, where she speaks kid. She speaks kid. You get some adults that go, well, hello, young lady. And straight away, she speaks kid. And she was so good with them. And they totally had a crush on her, this glamorous New York artist,
Yeah.
And they totally it was just so lovely.
She's really open-hearted,
yeah.
And I can completely get that she would connect with kids.
She didn't swear once
What?
in front of them. She did, because that was my worry. I was going to say, look, Imani, can you just watch that? Didn't swear once.
Because that's the thing with her, there's no filter, right?
The filter came in place. It was lovely. It was so nice to see.
I think she's got little kids in her family, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has. And then I went back and we'd play. They knew some of the songs, but I went back and I showed them. I said, look, she was actually, 20 years ago, she was a big pop star for a while, and I showed them the video for Legend of a Cowgirl, and they were just pissing themselves, going, "That's her!" And then there's a bit where some old dudes are dancing, and they loved it. But it was it was just nice, and everybody, apart from the woman at the School of Rock and the guy on the way back, everybody made us feel so welcome in a way that you don't get in London. People in diners will come in and stop in to talk to the kids. Where are you from? What football team do you support? We went to a second-hand, quite a famous, it turns out, retro video game shop, New York Video Games. Got itchy nose. And it's an amazing place, and I was in there. And my boy wanted to buy a $5 DS game that was in the back of a cabinet, Ice Age game, $5, you know. And we said, can we get that one, please? And they couldn't find the key because they changed all the locks and they couldn't find the key. So they were trying to phone up. And we were there for about 30 minutes, right? And I said, look, if you can't find it, it's $5. It's not your biggest sale. Please don't wait. She said, no, we're going to get in there. If you can wait. And there were games for the boys to play. And I said, of course we can wait. You know, if you're cool with us playing your games, then, you know, we're cool. And they were loading up games for the boys, and there was a new Dreamcast game that hadn't been released yet, and my boy was playing it, and the guy said, you're the first person, apart from me, to play that game. And my eldest is like, no one's played this? And in the end, 35 minutes, they couldn't open it. So the guy got a screwdriver to take this case. I said, dude, it's $5. Honestly, you really don't have to. And he said, well, we want you're going to play it. You know, we get people that come in and spend thousands of dollars to put in a box. You're going to play it, so we're going to get it out. Turns out it's not a very good game, but it was just so lovely, and there was no need for them to do that.
No, but here's what I think, that seeing a bloke and a big man like you with two little boys is kind of adorable.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Whereas women with kids is something you see all the time, right?
Oh.
I think that there's something in
Hang
there.
on a minute, can I use those boys to pick up chicks?
For sure.
Man, what a wasted week that was.
It's like having two puppies. Get them and a puppy.
Look at a puppy.
It is, though, isn't it? But I think to see a man looking after his kids, everyone loves that. Everyone loves that. A man on his own with his kids. Not just that, but everyone feels like, well, there's a story there.
I didn't. Oh, you're making me well up a little bit. I hadn't thought of that. It's
totally that. They want to look after you.
No, actually, make me cry. Don't make me cry. But you have set me off. But honestly...
Yeah, and then they'll find out it's you and realise you're just a knob.
Oh, thank you. Okay, and the tears have gone back. Thank you. Nigel, we'll come to you in a minute. Everybody, though, was so... We're in the diner and the guys, you know, they hear your accent. Where are you from? Oh, we're from Windsor. You know, you can say we're from Windsor because obviously people have heard of Windsor now. John to the boys, what's your favourite thing, boy? You know, and just everyone was talking to them. And they were a little bit shy and they didn't want to talk all the time, but they would talk and it was great. Went to the Natural History Museum, right, which is a great place to go. And as we're queuing up, you know, I'm doing the English, and they've got to look in the bags. I said, well, here's my bag to look in. But if I were you, I'd certainly look in those two guys' bags. And the guy's going, oh, you're English, huh? Well, I tell you someone we get in here all the time. Paul McCartney comes in here every time he's in New York. And I said, really? So, oh, yeah, one of the guards has got his phone number. He calls in. Paul, he might even be in today. I don't know.
He likes to hang out with the things that are almost as old as he is.
Almost as old as him. And just the fuss they made of my kids. It was a joy. It's such a great city. Just in a way that you don't get in London. You don't get it in London. You get it more out of London. You get it more in Manchester and that kind of thing. But every day was a joy, you know, to walk around with those boys, drag one of them around because he had Heelys. Oh man. And we sat in the park. We sat in Central Park on maybe the first or second day, and the kids are playing in the playground there. Great playground, made entirely of concrete, but great. And there's water and all of this. And just the woman heard me speaking to them, and the woman sat next to me. So where are you guys from? Okay, well, here's a list of parks you should go to. One in Brooklyn Bridge and Battersea Park, all these parks. And I knew we weren't going to have time to go, but I was listening. And then she's talking to the boys and going, are you enjoying it? Well, there's this and this you can do. And that's incredible, man. That's incredible. Love it. I love that city so much. Such a great place. I'll tell you about medieval times in a bit. Sorry, this whole show is just my travelogue.
It's a travelogue.
We'll have a break. We'll talk to Nigel. And then I'll tell you about medieval times. The greatest dining experience known to mankind. This is The Late Night Alternative on Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
No YouTube, no Periscope. Primarily my fault. I'll take the rap for that. You know, there's stuff
I don't know how true that is.
Well, no one's told me specifically, but that's kind of what I've worked out, and you know, the stuff that was going on. I think there's that. I think what happened with James, stuff like that. So there isn't any. It was always a bonus. We always said it was a bonus. So make sure you listen on DAB. Download the Talk Radio app or Radio Player or tune in, or you can listen online. Then you get people going like Daniel's tweeting me. So that's why you're not there. I don't enjoy it as much when normal What does that mean? And the YouTube reminder comes in handy. Won't be listening as often. Sorry, Talk Radio bosses. The YouTube reminder comes in handy? Why don't you set a reminder on, I don't know, your phone or the fridge
Or it's the same time every night. So if you need a reminder.
Please don't tweet me. Here's the thing, Daniel.
Why do we need to know this?
I appreciate your support. I really do, man. I really do. And I get why people are upset about YouTube. I get it. Of course, I'm upset by it. But please don't tweet me saying you're not going to listen as much. Don't. How is that helpful to me? You know, tweet Talk Radio if you want. Won't do any good. But don't include me in a tweet that says I'm not going to be listening as much. I mean, how is that helpful to me, man? That's not helpful. But we appreciate your support throughout the years. Hey, Nigel.
Hi, guys. All right.
Are you in the same time zone as your phone?
Yeah.
It's a bit.
Is it funny? Is it not clear?
You sound miles away.
Very unclear. It sounds like you're a tape recording. Sorry?
I can hear you.
Now we can hear you. Where were you?
Your mouth wasn't near the mouthpiece.
Is it all right now?
It's all right now, Nigel.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all right now, baby.
It's all right now.
Yeah. That's a great number, isn't it?
It's a great number.
The Rolling Stones.
I'll tell you another great... No, it wasn't the Rolling Stones. It was Batman Turner Overdrive, wasn't it?
Oh.
I'll tell you another great number. 7.
Yeah, that's nice, yeah.
What you got for us, Nigel? How's life?
A busy afternoon today.
What happened?
I'll tell you in a minute. After I've been talking, could you play the Miley Cyrus one on SoundCloud?
No, I'm not. I don't feel in the mood for Miley Cyrus tonight. Sorry, Nigel.
No, it's okay.
Not feeling the Miley Cyrus vibe.
I'll do a live song tomorrow, and I'll ring up earlier.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
I can't do one now because the neighbours have gone to bed.
Yeah.
So I've had a busy afternoon. First of all, got up and went to see the vicar.
Yeah.
And he told me that they're going to come and see me about the funeral in a few days. It's sort of halfway there.
Okay. So are they arranging it all for you?
They're going to ask me what time I want it for myself, you know, so the best time for me, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I've got to feel in the mood to go to it, and I don't really want to go to it, but that part's fine. So I've got to know the vicar.
And who else will be going to the funeral, Nigel?
Yeah, all my neighbours will be going.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Loads of neighbours. And the next thing was today, I cycled 12 miles to my dad's grave, which I haven't been to for nearly 3 months, and you know, because Mum was in hospital.
Yeah.
And so that the flowers were still there; they weren't even blown away.
Oh,
the flowers were okay.
Fantastic!
And so I said a little prayer to Dad, and one about Mum as well. And so I got that sorted. Then I went did another 10 miles. I've done about nearly 30 miles today. So I've done quite, and I lost a pound in weight.
Strong legs.
Yeah, but I've lost a pound in weight.
Well, you put that on with a Mars bar,
But don't you lose it when you sweat or something?
Well, you lose it when you sweat and when you exercise, yes.
Yeah, you do, yeah. I shouldn't be worrying about my weight, should I?
I wouldn't worry about a pound. A pound is nothing, man. A pound's a bag of sugar.
No, I was 11.5 stone, now it's gone 11 stone 6. So it's a pound I've lost, but I suppose
that's nothing. You can lose that with a good shit.
Yeah, you can, yeah, sure.
It's true, though.
It's true.
Well, I did used to say that to you and used to worry about it.
I've got a lot going for me because I went to see a lady in Yalding. I said, can I do a tribute concert in the local village hall for my mum? A jazz drumming and singing together for 2 hours, and she said yes.
Wow, that's brilliant!
I've arranged it for Friday.
So this Friday, you're doing a tribute concert to your mum, jazz drumming and singing for 2 hours.
In the village hall, yeah, and it's free admission if anyone wants to come in.
Right, all right. Right, hang on a minute. Let's get these details down so we can tell. If people want to go and support you, they can. So where is it?
Well, I've already advertised it on my Facebook and on Noah Cyrus' Facebook.
Now you're going to advertise it on Talk Radio Britain, on the most popular late night radio show.
If I could get more people to come along.
So where is it?
Well, Yalding is in Kent. It's near Maidstone.
Yalding in Kent?
Near Maidstone.
Yeah.
ME18 6JS is the postcode.
ME18 6JS, yeah.
Because sometimes you have to put that into the car, don't you, when you're driving?
Yeah, okay, I'm going to tweet this in a minute. And Yalding is Yalding?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, and it's the village hall in Yalding?
The local village hall. You just go through the village and it's the first turning on the right.
Okay, village hall in Yalding. What time are you doing it?
Well, 7:30 I've suggested. 7:30.
And they're cool with that, and they're letting you do it?
Well, I've got to confirm the time tomorrow.
Okay.
So, but first of all, she said I can do it in the afternoon, but I've decided to do it in the evening because I go cycling in the day, and I want to carry on cycling. So
I'm just you can hear me typing because I'm just tweeting it.
Yes, I'm going to make it 7:30 because she said that day was free. She said so. I've got to go and see her tomorrow and confirm it tomorrow.
So it's jazz drumming.
And singing.
Jazz drumming.
Well, just all what I can do.
Singing
it'd probably be more drumming than anything because I was
2
mainly
hours, man. I suppose you've got strong arms.
Backing tape.
It'll be a jazz drumming and singing concert at
Yalding Village Hall on Friday.
Village. And how much is it to get in?
No, it's going to be. Pardon?
How much is it to get in?
Oh no, it's going to be free admission.
Oh, mate.
And probably be some drinks as well.
7:30. Do try and go if you're...
But I better confirm it with you tomorrow night because I've got to speak to her tomorrow.
Okay.
To make sure it's okay for Friday. But if it's not Friday, it'll be another day. But I want it for Friday.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. So it's not confirmed.
It is. She said I can do it Friday afternoon or evening. So it is definitely on Friday.
Okay. Okay. Well, I've tweeted...
what I'll do is I'll call the show tomorrow night and tell you definite.
Please do. That'll be wicked.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, that's a lovely
idea,
thing. It's a great idea. Lovely thing to do.
Because they all know my mum, the neighbours. It's a neighbour.
Can I ask a question? Speaking as a performer, right? And I've done a lot of live shows. I've done it with Catherine on my own and stand up and sit down. All of this stuff. 2 hours is a very, very long.
It may not be. It might be an hour and a half. But you know how time goes when you're playing a 5-minute.
Well, 5 minutes goes.
Big band number or something.
May I suggest, and also 2 hours is a long time to keep an audience's interest. May I suggest 30 to 45 minutes? Would that be?
Well,
that wouldn't be disrespectful.
Her an hour, so we could knock it down to an hour.
I think
an hour's
for
enough.
the audience that would, and for the performer, I think that the 30 to 45 minutes would be a really good length.
An hour, yeah.
Okay.
But I said an hour to the lady, so that's what I'm going to do. An hour.
Okay.
And that'll go very quickly with half a dozen songs and half a dozen.
Possibly. I think it's a really lovely thing to do, mate. Well done.
And obviously, I would like to get the TV to come and film it.
Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all? When we're in Edinburgh this Saturday, we'd like the TV to come. There's no chance of that.
But now you're advertising it.
Yeah, we go.
Shall I email BBC Radio TV in Tunbridge
I would email BBC Radio TV. Yes.
No, I would definitely do it.
Yeah, I would.
The BBC is in Tunbridge Wells, which is not far away.
I would think you stand a good chance. Well, I think email the local TV news.
Yeah.
Both the BBC and the ITV and the local BBC radio station, and you never know.
The Meridian one, isn't it?
Yeah, you never. I don't know. You check that.
You make sure you tell them right near the beginning of the message that you're doing it in memory of your mother.
Of course, yeah. Well, I could. Shall I do it? Shall I do it on Facebook?
Do it on Facebook and email.
Well, I'm not. My email's not working on my computer.
Oh.
The computer's got some problems on it. Yeah.
I bet it has.
Well, it's quite an old one, and it says that it needs things doing to it. So
Give it a right hammering.
You need to get that hard drive cleaned.
Yeah.
Those pop-ups, huh?
No, it says. You know what's the name for it when people hack into your computer?
Pornography.
No.
Excuses.
No. It says there was...
U-tree?
No, there's a word for it when people hack into the computer. Virus.
Oh, okay.
It's got 6 viruses wrong with it. That's why I can't get the email part to work properly. Okay. But does that mean it's going to catch cold or something?
It might do! His bits might drop off! His knobs might drop off! We've all been there. All right, Nigel, listen, give us a call tomorrow when you know the full details of the concert.
Yeah, I know it. I'll definitely be able to do it on Friday, but I'll confirm it with you tomorrow night then, shall I?
All right, man. Yeah, that'd be great.
But in the meantime, people can get ready, see if they've got time to come, can't they?
They certainly can. All right, mate. Listen, nice to talk to you, Nigel. Take care.
Talk to you tomorrow
See
night,
you later
Ian.
on, Ta-ta. Bye-bye. 0344 499 1000. Good evening, Jerry.
I hope you didn't take you back to Dixon's.
No, that's how Gary Glitter got found out, isn't it?
Yeah,
took it to either Dixon's or PC World.
PC World.
And he said, right, there's a file on there.
Oh.
Don't look in the file. He said it to them. Don't look in that file. So of course they went, all right, Gary.
We all know what the name of the file was.
And they clicked on it and they went, oh my God, and handed it into the police. We can hear what you're saying.
Not gold.
I can hear what you're saying, Catherine. When you here's the thing: when you mouth a word, your
to
lips.
Sam in that direction.
Yeah, there's a microphone there, and your lips make the sound of the word. So you'd now sound like. You can't do it. This is me I'm going to mouth a word to Sam, and this is what you do.
Do not.
That's what you do. Anyway, Jerry, I'm sorry. I can only apologise.
Sorry.
Sounds like she's having a nosh.
She's having a nosh?
Yeah.
Aye, steady on, steady on. Easy,
You
Tiger.
don't know what I sound like.
Yellow.
Yeah, say, do you believe in full moon, will you?
Yellow card. Yellow card.
Yellow card, yeah, accept.
What do you want? What do you want, old man?
Do you believe in the full moon?
I've seen it. I believe in it. Yeah.
The full moon.
The full moon exists.
Okay, weird on. They've chatted back to this. The Karen chatted back today. Past 5 full moon.
Is it a full moon tonight?
No, last night.
Well, I wasn't available for comment last night.
No, but last night I was weird. I couldn't sleep.
Well, hang on a minute. If last night was a full moon, then why was Jim Davis's show on BBC London so boring?
I think you've answered your own question.
That station doesn't exist anymore.
No, it doesn't exist. No other stations exist anymore apart from Talk Radio, and this is the most listened to late night phone-in show in British radio. And Paul Ross is going to be on at 1 o'clock. And Paul Ross will be on. I've seen him skulking.
Yeah.
He's a skulker.
And then you'll cop for it.
Yeah.
No win, no fee.
No win, no fee. Yeah, and apparently the second series they changed the rules slightly. He'll tell the story, but this was a show he hosted where if win, no fee or something. So if they won the prize, he didn't get a fee, and if they didn't win the prize, he got a fee, right? And it was true. It really happened. And he said he made quite a bit of cash in the first series, and in the second series, they either worked out like a little cheat or they changed the rules slightly. So he made about 500 quid out of 45 episodes or something.
Does White after Danny Baker?
Sorry?
Does White after Danny Baker, didn't he?
His wife died with Danny Baker.
No, God, that's a scandal. Gary Glitter. No.
What?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. I don't think you're thinking of win, lose or draw.
Hard drive again.
Okay, all right. We're going off on tangents that are vaguely litigious, so thank you for that, Jerrington. Let's go to Ricardo. Good evening, Ricardo.
Yeah, hello. It's my first time on on this show, and I was just
make it good, then, boy.
I try to. Well,
this is your audition to we'll decide if we want you back for more.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like the way you talk and present your show and such, and it's quite clean. But I thought I might just add a bit of spice, or would like you to add a bit of spice to your radio show. And what I would like to say, because I'm not very quick as you at talking.
Yes.
So you have to bear with me.
I don't have to.
Oh, you don't have to. You're right there. One of the things I liked, you had a gentleman who rang into your show, and he spoke about a Christian. Well, he's a Christian, and no disrespect to him. And he spoke about it is only sex is only for the word is
procreating. Making babies.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay. That wasn't our show, but I imagine that was probably James's show. Okay.
Okay, yeah, and
people often
and
say show when they mean station, but I get it. Yes.
And he mentioned, he said that that sex is only for making babies. Okay?
Incorrect. It's yes.
Yeah. So I would like to say that then, if it was that babies could be made without having sex, would he still want sex? That's one of the questions I would like to hear.
But babies can be made without having sex.
Yes, they can, but he said, because he's a Christian, he said that babies should be only made when having sex. You see? So that's what I'm really looking for.
But was he saying that basically being gay is wrong? Is that what you're saying? I didn't hear the call, but I'm guessing it probably can. Imagine that.
No, that's the only part that's the only part I got.
Okay.
And the next thing I want to say, my next question is
yes. I like this guy. This guy's so far he's passing the audition.
I would like you to slow down on when you sorry. I would like you to hurry up talk quicker.
Okay.
When you talk, so I can slow down.
I can do that.
And catch the words.
No problem. You want me to talk quicker, yeah? I'll go faster. No problem at all.
I'm only joking.
Oh, I like this guy.
He had you there.
I like this guy.
Right,
Ricardo, where are you calling from, man?
I'm calling from London.
What can I ask? Can you narrow it down? Don't tell me the street.
Well, I don't really want to say much.
Hackney.
Because I just want to make it quick. No, I do not like that area.
You from north or south London?
In London, near Kent.
So is that North London? No, South London. So you're in
London is near Kent, isn't it?
You're in Elephant. Oh yes, I got it right, didn't I?
But no. But listen,
he's an elephant.
I don't want to take up too much.
What do you think? They're knocking down the pink shopping centre.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to comment on that. What I want.
But does it, as a resident of the Elephant and Castle, does it upset you that they're knocking down that historic?
As I said, I don't want to comment on that. The next question is
firm. I love it.
Right?
He's having none of your nonsense.
I do like that lady.
I like
when she laughs. I really like. I don't know what you look like.
You don't know what I have to do to make her laugh, though.
But yes. You know something? I dropped a coin once. Okay. I hope I'm not rude or anything. I don't like to be dirty or anything. I don't like to make dirty jokes. That's why I carry tissues. And right now, what was it going to say?
But you dropped a coin.
Oh, your other assistant who's with you.
Assistant.
I like him.
The guy that answers the phones.
No, there's a guy that talks, and when he talks, right, he talks like he sounds like someone who's sitting in the back of the class, and he
Ash.
And
Ash.
when he talks,
yes.
Right.
You've never listened to my show, but you're talking about a completely different show. I'm glad that you called in, but man, you are slow because you're like 3 hours late.
Well, maybe you can pass on.
I will do. Right? What message would you like me to pass to us?
The thing I want to say is right.
Yes.
That he could actually he'd be good as an MP comedian.
An MP comedian.
Yes, an MP comedian.
Okay.
And the reason why is because that
he's high on drugs.
Right. Let me just bear with me.
Bear with you for quite a bit, and so far it's not making much sense. But yes, go on.
Oh, right. So what I would like to say is he gives me that thought as though someone who's got two left shoes on and he walks into as a MP and he's there participating as an MP.
What do you think about that new roundabout in Elephant? Because I can't make head and tail of it. You have to turn right at it.
And he sounds to me like someone who's going for a job, right?
Because you used to have to go round it left, but now because they've pedestrianised some of it.
I'll answer your question in a moment.
Okay.
Right? He sounds to me like he went for an interview for a job, right?
Okay.
And he didn't get the job.
No.
Right, because
as an MP comedian.
The boss, because he didn't get the job
because he stank of weed.
Right.
Oh, what a lovely little laugh you've got!
Because he was wearing the wrong shoes.
Two left feet, yeah.
Right, yeah, two left shoes, right, with different colour socks,
yes,
right. And then he didn't get the job, and then he told you about it,
yes,
and you said to him, did he take his shoes off?
Yep.
And then he replies, no, he wasn't thinking about that at the time.
Right.
Good one.
Okay.
That makes no sense, right? So you used to go left on the roundabout, and now you are.
Now you got to go right around it because they pedestrianised a bit of it.
No. Now listen to the. Hang on. Let me see. This is the last one.
Okay.
And
just seeing how
far I think you should present also. I think you should present. I would like to get the.
Is this for me or for James Whale, the host you've been talking about for this entire phone call?
To any of your audience, right? Yes. You could ask them who are vegans, right?
I know who are vegans. Vegans are people what don't eat no animal product.
Yeah, and they don't like harming animals.
Yeah,
so what you should say to them is,
let's go and beat up a vegan.
What you should say to a vegan, if there was a bull charging towards them, and there was a man with a bow and arrow, right? Would they allow the sportsman to?
It's a sportsman now, is it? He was a man a minute ago. Now he's a sportsman. Isn't it?
Yeah, anyway, would they allow the man with the bow and arrow to stop the bull in its tracks?
Well, their reply would be, and speaking as a vegan myself,
or would they allow the bull to knock them over?
Speaking as a vegan myself, and that reminds me,
I accidentally stepped on a snail.
You didn't do it accidentally. You did it deliberately.
You
murdered that snail.
Wait, hold on.
You laugh like the Riddler.
It was a bit sluggish moving out of the way.
In it.
Oh, good one.
And to vegans as well, right? How do they avoid stepping on ants when they walk?
Well, what the Buddhists do is the Buddhists bless their feet every day, so that if they do step on animals, that the insects and things, the spirit instantly gets reincarnated or goes to heaven or nirvana, whatever it is. Yeah. So the Buddhists, they will bless their feet.
I would like to know the answer to the vegan.
Okay, well, okay. As a vegan,
do they make traffic? Are they going to make traffic lights so that the ants can walk, and when they see ants walking, they can stop.
How do you feel about the traffic lights in Elephant and Castle?
The area in which you live.
Red, gold. So there's red, green, and orange.
That's fact.
Is it red, green, and
it's amber.
Yeah.
Amber. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, nice call, Ricardo. Thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
What a lovely gentleman. Great sense of humour. Very funny guy. First call. Sounded very confident. He's 3 hours late for the show that he was calling in about, but it took him a long time to dial those numbers. Hello, Abdul.
Hi there, mate.
What have you got for us?
Oh, I just wanted to call in and ask about, are you the guy off Celebrity Big Brother, Celebrity Show, mate? What's it called? Get Me Out of Here, yeah.
Yes, I am. Thanks very much for your call. This is the Late Night Alternative on Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.
03. Are we on the air? Yes, I've taken the headphones off, that's why I can't hear. Well, I couldn't hear anyway, one-legged. 03 4 499. I've got Ricardo disease. 034 499 1000 is the phone number. Last 20 minutes of the show before Paul Ross comes on. So, New York, one of the greatest dining experiences I've ever been involved in. And you may have seen it if you've seen the movie The Cable Guy. Medieval times, right? It's quite a way out. It took us $70 in an Uber to get there. It took us an hour and a quarter because of the traffic. But it's...
Well, it is about sort of 800 years.
Yes. You had to book it, right? And I booked the Queen's special package.
Whoa.
Very expensive. But it's in this castle, right? But it's obviously like a castle from the 70s. But yet when I asked them, I made a joke about, I'm here to check that this is authentic. She goes, well, it is Spanish castle that we're in. The whole thing was Spanish as well. It was all Spanish, not British.
Right.
So basically, you go back to medieval times.
Conquistadors, innit?
Yeah, okay. And you get teams, and it's a restaurant, but it's like a restaurant in a massive arena. Not that massive, actually.
It looked big.
It's not as big as it looks. And you get served food that is cutlery-free dining. So you get a tomato soup, dragon's blood, in like a bowl with a handle, so you slurp. And the boys loved it. Then you get a big old slab of chicken. It's half a chicken. Half a big chicken. Boys have never seen anything like it. And I devoured it. And you get a lovely little sweet corn and a potato. Mm-hmm. The boys are loving it, just picking up this chicken and ripping it with their teeth, and it's great. And then you get a bit of cake for dessert. And all the time this is going on, there's like a play happening in the middle with on horseback, and it's like a queen up in the balcony. And there's okay, for a bit of it was an actual circus with horses. I don't know how we feel about horses in circuses. I tried to justify it, but I felt bad. So horses walking funny, doing what I think they call
Dressage.
The Spanish trot.
Mm-hmm.
Spanish trot. That's what they call. And I think that they train that by putting electricals on their testicles. I think that's how you got to do it. But it looked great. And so that goes on for a bit. And then during the play, it all kicks off a bit. And they have like these knights doing these challenges. Like they've got to ride horseback. So they're riding bareback, and they've got with these jousts, I've got to get hoops and stuff. But then it gets a bit tense between the knights. I mean, there's all these different knights, and we've all got different teams, so we've got to cheer them. Then it gets a bit tense between the knights, and I don't know if this was scripted or not, but it kicked off. And suddenly, one of the knights says, right, well, we're going to have fights to the death.
Whoa.
What? And I'm sat there thinking, whoa, Jesus, man. this has kicked off. And security didn't come in. They can't. They're nights.
And there are children there.
There are children there. There are, and I did think, me and my boys said, wouldn't it be sad? Because there were 4 seats and we had 3. So we had a table to ourselves. We had 3 seats. And my boy said, is anyone going to come and sit there? I said, no, we've got this to ourselves. And we went off into this fantasy of imagining one person, turning up for medieval times on their own because it was their favourite thing. Well, but no one would go with them. And because there were like hen parties and stags and birthdays and, a lot of drunk people. But it kicked off with these nights, man.
That's nights for you.
And I guess I was lucky there to see it. I'm sure it must have been closed down immediately after the fights. But then they're having proper jousting fights. What was funny, though, was if one of the knights got hit, it took them about 4 or 5 seconds to fall off, almost as if they were preparing to fall off. I don't know. But it was wicked. So they're jousting, and then one would get like a mace and would swing it around and bash that. And there was a great stunt. This guy had like a sort of spear, right? And she's fighting with the spear against this sword, and there's sparks coming off and stuff. And then he shoved the spear in the ground and sort of ran and lifted both feet off to do a karate kick. It was incredible, man. It was wicked. And then one thing that did genuinely happen is one of the knights got hit in the head by mistake. Blood pouring everywhere. And my boys are going, is that meant to happen? I said, no, I don't think it is. It's brilliant.
Did he say, 'tis but a scratch?
No, he didn't say that. He wasn't mic'd up. So he may have done, but we wouldn't have heard it. And then the guy that we were cheering, I had to stop cheering him for a while because then he wanted to kill all the other knights. And the Queen said, no, we will not have, this will be fights with honour. And he went,
is it Brian Blessed?
and he said, no, I'm going to kill the knights. But then my boys were still cheering this. I'm thinking, this is not a great moral story. They're cheering a guy that is disrespectful to the Queen and wants to kill dudes. And so I couldn't cheer him. So I started cheering for another. Anyway, it was 2 hours. It was friggin' awesome, excuse my language. It was the most, I thought it was going to be a bit crappy, and it was a couple of $100. So I got the top package, and we got VIP lanyards. They got to hold Excalibur. You saw the picture of them. Yeah. Oh, but then there was you go in and there's like this sort of market, right? Like medieval market, except they're selling tat, like glowing swords and glowing this and flags and all of this shiz. But then there's an armory where they've got real weapons that you can go and hold. America. And my boys are holding a replica of Excalibur, and the woman's like holding the tip. She says, I'm sorry, sir, I have to keep my hand on it at all times. What? I'm thinking, but if I could grab that and start swinging that around like a lunatic. But it was awesome. And great food. Then afterwards, and then some of the kids, you could get the kids knighted. Right, you had to go up to a booth and say it was their birthday, and I was tempted to do it for the boys, but my youngest basically got called in front of everyone, and then they knelt down and had like a robe put over them. I've got some video of it. I'll send you some video of some kids getting knighted. And my youngest went, please don't make them do that to me, Daddy. I went, okay, well, fine.
It does look a bit like they're being hacked with a sword. I get it.
And my youngest, although he's the cockiest of the two, he doesn't like doing things in front of people.
Yeah.
He's not so keen on audience
participation. Mine's like that, and I think that the eldest, who's more reserved, is actually more sure of herself.
Yeah.
She doesn't do it because she doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas the youngest is a bit kind of like a puppy. That's a bit scared, actually, but they'll bark a lot.
Yeah, definitely. But man alive, it was and my youngest fell asleep for about 20 minutes, a little nap, 20-minute nap. There was a falcon. A falcon was flying. A falcon was flying over the audience.
Gosh, that must have brought back some terrible memories.
It was actually horrific, and they should have put a sign up saying that there were going to be raptors. Don't cry. I'm over it. I'm over it.
I'm angry for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm over it. If I see it now, I'm going to punch it, but I'm over it.
And you don't blame the Falcons for it?
I don't blame the Falcons. I blame Falco for it, because the Rock Me Amadeus guy, because he was big. He was big into owl breeding. Here's the irony: Falco was an owl breeder in the 80s, and that's why we've got such vast numbers of owls.
And they've got attitude,
isn't it? Just like he did. He's dead now, Falco.
Yeah.
Sad story, the Falco story. Maybe we'll do a special on it one night.
I thought it was a car crash.
Yeah, car crashes are sad. You say that as though it's not a sad thing. I think he was heavily into drugs as well. But so for my recommendation is and then here was the thing. If you're an Uber driver, right, you get told where you're going, don't you, before you pick up?
Yeah.
So we got...
Or do you? No, I don't know if you do.
Do you not? No, you must do.
I don't know if you do, but...
Well then, OK, in that case, how come Katie Puckrick, they always cancel her Ubers? And we've said it's because it was such a short distance.
I don't know whether it's... I don't know.
Maybe she's got a low star rating. We need to investigate that. Add that to my
There's got to be something wrong with her. She's too damn perfect.
Well, she's obviously nuts. I mean, that's obvious, isn't it? I know you know her better than me. She's obviously nuts. Come on! Not nuts, sorry, kooky. Are you friends with her now?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? It's so lovely.
Could you not be mean about my friend, please?
Wow! You're supposed to be on my side. We've been
Well,
friends
you're
longer.
also nuts.
Oh,
so
okay.
I seem to collect them.
Isn't that cool? After seeing her at that Sparks thing and being too shy to go and say hello to her, you're now friends with her.
Yeah.
That's great. And I think she's brilliant. Honestly, the bits of the show I heard, I heard bits. The bits of the show I heard were brilliant. Fantastic. I'm not going to...
Well, it's like this. It wasn't pretend.
Yeah, she's good. I'm glad. And you were telling me that she's getting a bit more work all over the place now.
Yeah,
And
she
she's
is.
getting her mojo back.
She feels like she got her groove back.
Good.
Not that we realised that the groove had gone, because she's so cool.
Yeah, good. Oh, good for her. Well, we love her, and she's welcome here at any time. But yeah, so the first Uber is quite a trek back from New Jersey to New York City. And the first Uber we got in, and I was shattered, man, because it's the last day, so we'd done a lot. We'd done something in the morning, then we'd seen Imani, and then we'd done this. It's tiring, man. It's the last day. It was late. It was like 10 o'clock at night. And we got in, and the guy said, you're staying in New Jersey, right? And we went, no. Sorry, man, I'm staying in New Jersey. I went, boys, out. Thanks. And I said, thanks a lot for taking the gig, man. He said, I'm sorry, sir, they don't tell me where we go. I said, yeah, whatever. So do they not?
I don't think they do, precisely to avoid that.
But then I wasn't able to give him a rating, because I wanted to give him a rating of like 1. You can't give 2 kids, kick him out of the thing. I mean, it wasn't that big a deal. Didn't
he cancel the job?
He cancelled it.
Well, then...
Well, I told him to cancel it, because I said, I'm not... You cancel it, man, because I need to get another cab, because I've got 2 boys with me. And it was dark, and it was, But anyway, the guy came and picked us up, but I just thought that was a bit sniffy, Far from that, though, we had a great time.
Sounds brilliant.
Brilliant. And it was great. It was just being away with the boys on our own, and we were doing boy jokes and fart jokes, and they were delights and well behaved and making me laugh a lot. And Bebbies became this meme where we just said Bebbies to each other, and they would laugh a lot. It's great, man.
They are going to remember that trip forever.
Building memories. That was it.
So will you. And this is the other thing, is that I know that you had a bit of a crisis of confidence before it, and you didn't think you could do it. You did it, and then some.
Yeah, when I was there, I had a huge wobble, because I started worrying about money, because some money I was hoping would come through, which is why I bought this house so quickly. It hasn't come through and may not come through for months. And, there's a wobble, and there's a wobble of confidence, and there was a wobble of, I think I'm going to lose my job. That came from nowhere, to the point where I emailed my bosses and said, I'm worried that you're going to get rid of me. And one emailed back saying, don't worry, and one phoned me up saying, don't worry. And it was partly the tiredness. It was partly because the money thing is real. It was partly this was a big thing. This was the longest time I'd ever spent with them on my own.
And it's partly that you deal with anxiety.
Yeah, and it's that the whole divorce thing. The whole divorce thing is there's a real sense. I know we've talked about it before, but there's a real sense of failure on my part, and that I think is actually more common than people talk about. It's not something that's talked about, but I've had a few people say, actually, I identify with that. I get the sense of failure. And logically, it isn't, but emotionally, it is. You perceive it as that. So I get it. And it was a lot of emotions, and lying in bed, them in the other bed, and then they'd get into my bed, and I'd do the whole, come on, guys. But actually, I was thinking, this is perfect. I don't mind sharing a bed with these 2 guys. When they're asleep, I'll get out and get in the other bed. And, anyway, I'm waffling. Let's go to Simon. Good evening, Simon.
Good evening. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, Simon. What have you got for us tonight?
I am an Uber driver.
The what? Oh, yeah, the Uber. You're an Uber driver?
I am an Uber driver, yeah.
Go on. Do you know where you're going?
No.
You don't get told?
We don't get told until you're in the car.
Oh.
And we actually physically start the trip. We don't know where you're going.
Oh.
There you go.
Well, then, Catherine, your theory... Come in, Paul. Your theory about them not picking up Katie Puckrick because she's close is incorrect. I want to find out what her star rating is on Uber. We need to find out.
That would be good.
Can you hack Simon, as one of their drivers, can you hack the system to find out what Katie Puckrick's rating is, please?
What she did in the back of that cab.
And if there's any way we can up it a bit, because I like the girl. I don't want her to have a bad...
I like picking her up and all, but it is a bit of a faff.
Did she take like a dump in your car?
Have they cancelled the trip on her?
Sorry? Yeah, a few times, yeah.
Have they?
Yeah, all one night. That's why I had to go and get her, and that's why I take her home every time I do a show with her.
The only thing I can say to that is, in all seriousness, her rating might be quite low, and that's why they're doing it. But then what's she doing to cause a low rating?
Here's my theory. She lives in a block of flats, and I wonder whether she doesn't get down the stairs fast enough.
Saying she's old.
Well, no, because we get paid waiting time now.
Oh, listen to you.
All right, well, she must be a nightmare.
So we actually quite like it when you take your time, because as soon as it hits 3 minutes, we get £3.
Hey, here's the thing. Paul Ross is in the studio. So, Paul, you should be involved. So I'm in New York, right? And I get I try and get an Uber. I got yellow cabs as well, guys. I split it. But we get an Uber, and it says he's 4 minutes away. Great. Then a minute later, it says he's 12 minutes away, right? So I cancel the job, and I got a $5 fine.
Quite clearly a breach of contract.
If you cancel it, you have to.
Yeah, but he went from 4 minutes to 12 minutes.
Yeah, but you don't know why he's held up.
He's held up because he's a dick.
Oh.
He might have been saving a kitten that had been attacked by a savage owl.
Yeah, that happens.
I know what you're doing, Paul Ross, and I'm rising above it. I'm above that. I'm above
Good to see you back, though. Great that it was when you were away. It's good to see you back.
Nice to see you too. Everyone all right? Everyone's
all fine and dandy, like Amos and Andy.
What have you got tonight?
I wanted to say though, you sparked a memory in me earlier when you started to sing sort of "All Right Now" by Free, not Batman.
By Free, thank you. Yes.
That was one of the first times I suddenly thought, oh, there's more to this music. When he sings, "There she stood in the street, smiling from her head to her feet," and I kind of knew what he meant when I was about 12 or 13 for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of come hither, and it's a lovely song.
Yeah, a lovely song.
Lovely song, it is. They also had a terrible song, though, Free. They're a bit sexist, called The Hunter, which is basically kind of, we hunt women down.
Well, there's a lot of that, they were 70s, late 60s?
Well, yeah, early 70s, yeah.
There's a lot of that 70s stuff that is so wrong now. So wrong now.
Smell the glove.
Smell the glove.
Oh, my.
Well, there's, but wait, so you don't get any blacker than that. But there's, but there's a load of Kiss songs. I mean, Gene Simmons is a dodgepot, a terrible man. But
they were kind of pantomime rock, weren't
they? They were pantomime. But Christine 16 and,
one of my favourite bands I used to follow around was that they never made it big. Mike Desbar went on to front Power Station, and his wife Pamela wrote a great book about being a groupie called Silverhead.
And we keep trying to get her on, and I got emails back from her at one point, but she's gone quiet.
But their second album featured a young woman who'd quite obviously been sexually assaulted, and it was called 16 and Savaged. And that was the front page, the image of the album. And my mum said to me, we can't leave that line around for the young brothers to see. I mean, the album's fantastic, but it's just that kind of weird, reification of women and people.
Well, there's a lot of 70s rock, and Paul McCartney did one, which he claims is a spoof of sexy girls. Girls' School, the Paul McCartney song. That sexy schoolgirls, are up for it, and they're 16 and they're up for it, and they're going to get it.
Hey, what
Don't
about
stand so close to me.
Yeah. What about Hey Little Tomboy?
Oh, the Beach Boys, Hey Little Tomboy. Yeah. But there's a version they didn't release.
Oh dear.
Where it's them. There's like a spoken bit. They're going, "Hey, little tomboy, come over here. Let's put some lipstick on. Now you really start." Oh, it's. You know that Dennis probably did.
Oh dear, there's that terrible rhyme, isn't there, in Don't Stand So Close to Me? He starts to shake and cough, just like the man in that book by Nabokov.
Yes.
What a line! Sting, go back to school.
Trying to be literary instead of being in it. Right, we've got 2 minutes, your show.
Okie dokie, on the show tonight, we've got sharks, of course we have, we've got dinosaurs, of course we have, but we've got a brilliant story, a hidden story from World War I, and we're counting down now. Seriously, we do a story once a week to commemorate the Great War.
Yeah.
We've all heard of the Great Escape, haven't we? When the Germans put all the top escapers in one big prison, guess what happened at the Great Escape?
Yeah.
They didn't learn. There's a new book out this week. They did exactly the same thing in the Great War, and in 1918 there was the Great Escape Part 1.
Wow.
It's got to be a movie.
The prequel.
We've got the author on the programme. It's a fascinating story. Two guys made it right there across Germany to Switzerland, because one of their number, the third guy, pretended to be literally insane, and they were escorting, they said, to a Swiss lunatic asylum. The stories in this escape were absolutely fantastic, so I'm really looking forward to that.
The ingenuity of those guys, man. You can't even consider it today. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's the same in World War I, but World War II, the rule was, if you get captured, you've got to try and cause as much bother for the Germans as you possibly can.
Not for anybody who wasn't an officer. There was no compunction on the enlisted men. So if you were a sergeant or below, you didn't have to try and escape, but it was the duty of every officer to try and do exactly that.
Love it. Thank you, Paul Ross. Paul Ross will be on at 1 o'clock as per usual. You can dip in and give him a call if you want as well. 0344.
I'd rather they didn't, to be honest.
I know, they're horrible, aren't they?
I've got to make room for my usual old tosh.
In that case, don't bother phoning him. We will be back tonight at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something I've got to say, but I don't think there is anything I've got to say, so I won't. Don't forget you can download the podcasts if you go to talkradio.co.uk, if you go to iTunes or Acast. And your show, last week, the podcast, aren't there?
Yeah.
Podcasts are plenty of Catherine and Katie Puckrick if you missed them. Right, that's it. That's your lot. We are back tonight at 10. Stay tuned for Paul Ross.